Ulti's going to pop off from Oracle. Hook back in from Andros. Going to be charging up that epicenter. No one's getting out of here. That's 3 going down. Disruptor, he was de-warding. Look at the damage. Oracle buys back. Sweet as honey, says the big boy bear, and they are going to just crush your high ground from this. What a massive fight.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. It is week 6, day 2 of LPL Season 2 here. This is when the Titans come out to play with a fantastic double series coming up. And playing you through all the action here, it's me, GTH and Dota, and the WanderingBard. How's it going, man?
I'm going terrific, GTH. How could I be anything else? We're getting right down into the nitty-gritty here at the end of the LPL Pro Dota season, and we have some appropriately climactic matches coming up tonight that will decide the fate of some of our best teams.
That's right, and coming off after last night as well, Toons Reborn 2-0ing AGN.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a shock. Obviously, AGN have taken some games off some of those top teams over the course of the season. They haven't been able to string together enough wins, though, and they were already formally eliminated from the race for the finals before this match. Toons getting it done as they had to keep their season alive, if only by a thread. They need some very specific results tonight to stay in there, but at least they got it done on their own terms.
That's right, and those results are adding up here. Oracle, they may be right at the top, but if we look a little bit further down, Need Uprising, Crossfire, and FFYV2, all with the same score and all playing tonight.
Yeah, you couldn't have drawn it up any better. Obviously, the results over the last few weeks have just played out that way. That each of these teams, some of pretty invincible early on in the season. We've seen them all stumble at least once, and now we're going to see one of either Neat Uprising or FFYV2 unfortunately stumble again. Tonight they go head-to-head in what will do a great deal of work towards sorting out the shape of our finals.
That's right, these Titans going right ahead. Need Uprising have been proving themselves a pretty dominant force, but after last week, they did lose a few steps here. But FFYV2, they've been showing a whole bunch of flexibility in between their player base and their routines, and the teams have been looking strong itself. Cass, F18, Wygod, Massaway, Chestnut, all the powerhouse that we've seen. Wygod's just flair in that mid lane has really proved it, and Chestnut's versatility has just really made a solid lineup in this team here.
Yeah, every week it's like they impress us in a new way, right? Like on their debut, we were very impressed by Wygod's play and how well the team was able to play around him in different styles of draft as well. And then since then, it's been, oh, well, Chestnut in the mid. Okay, now Chestnut's in the off lane. This team's really flexible. Oh, okay, well, now Brew One is doing mid laning. Like they clearly know a lot of heroes on every player. They are flexible in multiple lanes with multiple heroes and multiple players, and everyone's just at such a high standard of execution. They have to be one of the favorites going into the finals.
That's right, but speaking of favourites, Need Uprising, the squad that we've seen jump from strength to strength, maybe stepped a little bit back here. They will be coming this week, but they do have a stand-in, at least Cloudy. We did see a few weeks ago, and the man was a hella strong carry, and he'll be bringing it this week as he replaces Riz for his game against FFYV2 tonight.
Yeah, you'd rather, bring your full squad for this match if you could, since it's, it's such an important point in the season and against one of your toughest opponents you're probably going to face in the entire LPL. But this team can get it done. We know they can. We trust Fury, and it's up to the rest of the team to step up to the plate and enable the draft. I think we have seen their drafting strength falter just a little bit in previous weeks. That's sort of how they've stumbled into this unfortunate three-way tie. So I'm hoping that's just a momentary blip and they'll be able to get back to their strength, because that's one of the things I look for in Needs Uprising.
Yeah, it is mainly their amazing drafting here, and I believe they came off last week playing against Oracle, which kind of, they outplayed them a little bit in a few aspects, and then we're coming into this week, which the FFYV2, they have stumbled a few times. They haven't played it perfectly, but drafting is typically one of their strengths as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to say the drafting is a strength. I would say that, like, in the way that Neat's drafting is a strength, they do have that classic outdraft potential, and they're extremely flexible. Like, the draft is a weapon for Fury as the captain of that team. The players have all been together so long that they really understand what they're capable of, and they can kind of put lineups together on the fly. So that's their strength in the draft. But what a team like FFYV2 clearly brings is, one, they're somewhat of an unknown to most of these teams, from what we can tell. They're not really being targeted by consistent bans week to week. And secondly, because as we mentioned, their players play multiple heroes in multiple lanes, their draft is just very flexible in terms of what they pick up. They haven't seen them counter enemy lineups too hard. There's been a couple of really strong 10th pick Timbersaws, but other than that, they sort of just make sure they pick winning lanes, get good matchups on their solo heroes, and they rely on the out skill, a bit like Team Oracle, to get the job done.
Ben, actually, let's just cut straight into the action here. The best of two series against FFY versus Neat Uprising, and the drafting already beginning here. If you're facing these teams, is there any specific bans we do just want to take out of the pool straight away, especially when you're looking against maybe FFY V2 with Y God's TA, which seems to be a god, or the win range as well, and then Neat Uprising. I'm pretty sure every single one of their players just has that whole signature hero that you just want to get out of there. And with only two bans, you need to target something.
Well, typically we see teams targeting Spag, with two bans lines up pretty neatly. You can take out Chen, you can take out Enchantress, but we saw Oracle. If you have a confident enough player on your own team, they were just brutally counterpicking the Chen both games in their series with their own Enchantress. And just where those hero skill builds line up at the moment, it's very unfortunate for Chen, who can't control big creeps the first few levels. He's kind of a bit muscled out of the jungle. And that's on the table, which frees up the ban slots, and FFYV2 go for more general bans instead. This is what we mean. They don't seem to be as concerned about specifically countering opposing strategies. They're kind of playing really Dota in a vacuum. Like they ban these mid heroes because I assume they're going to pick a mid hero that might be a little bit soft to those very strong, stable laners, Kunkka and Lina. And now they're just going to give, we presume, WiGod the best possible matchup.
No, just really focus around one of their big signatures, and that seems to be one of the favourable ways of drafting. We've seen many of the teams in this season really adopting that strategy, whether it be Gachi, whether it be TCG, as well on the side of AGM, but instead FFYV2, they're going back for a nice little safe pick that we've seen time and time again. The Grimstroke and then Neat Uprising in response, straight to the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, these are really cool supports. I love when supports like this are sort of the topics in the meta, and at this point I have thoroughly eaten my humble pie. I predict Grimstroke might struggle with the reduction of mana regen to the lanes. Obviously, the hero loves to cast a lot of spells, but the spells are just so powerful that we've seen Grimstroke, especially Grimstroke Weaver, just repeatedly come out as one of the go-to laning combos teams are reaching for when they feel they need to win the laning phase and set themselves up for the mid-game. So FFYV2, we've seen them do it before. Will they do it again?
Well, we'll find out. Looks like it's got a nice little combination there with Grimstroke and Earth Spirit, but one of Neat Uprising's most favourable heroes to go for Fury here is the Mirana, and instead of that, they're going second pick TA.
Okay. I wonder if that's a denied pick for Neats against FFY, because I don't know about Kunkka. Obviously, Torrent's pretty good at purging off refraction. He's kind of a tanky hero. Lina certainly has an ability to make TA's life in lane difficult. So, you mentioned that anyone who's watched the tapes of FFYV2, it's not just that WiGod had such a scary TA and is such a strong laner, but the whole team played such an effective TA strategy, like huge stacks coming up for the TA very early on, guarding those stacks with wards and fighting to protect them, chaperoning the TA to her farm. It really is just like a step-by-step game plan. And everyone knows how to win a game with Templar Assassin. It's not that complicated, but so often we see teams not quite execute it because they're trying to do two other things at the same time, or something goes a bit awry in the opposing draft they weren't ready for. So to see something executed so clinically, that was like the real announcement that this team were here to compete.
And not to mention as well, Kozikosi might not have the biggest versatility in the mid lane, but TA is definitely up there. The man plays a hell of a lot of TA games, so Kozikosi is still getting a comfortable hero for himself.
Yeah, and we saw that was a real issue for the draft of Neats against Oracle. I would argue, not to flame anybody, but that seemed to definitely be the weak point that Oracle exploited, because of course, probably the only other mid laner with a kind of intimidating presence that we've seen WiGod have is Zemistry, and the pressure to find a mid lane matchup for Kozi where he would be comfortable and able to contribute forced Neats to change their draft around in ways that just compromise things too much. So picking this TA early, I don't know whether this is something they can possibly flex or they're happy to just commit to the mid hero already, but hopefully they've gone back and thought over those drafts again and figured out a better way to handle things this time.
And right now, we're figuring out how to handle these bans here. So we got rid of Fury's Mirana, sort of Shadow Demon combination with the arrow. Ain't going to be happening. But also, these carries ain't going to be happening. Luna's been taken out. Amber's been put on the back seat. And same with Viper as well. No break today and no actual fantastic matchup against this TA for FFYV2. So still need Uprising. They are prioritizing Cozzy again.
Yeah, I mean, it's natural, right? You picked the TA this early, and we talked about how you sort of feel the pressure to prioritize Cozzy, especially now you've picked a TA. They were picking Puck for Cozzy last week, and that's the kind of hero where even if he has a mediocre lane, like the game isn't lost. But this Templar Assassin, you really do need her to be off to a decent start, whether from the laning phase or from protected stacks. So banning out her bad matchups definitely in your best interest. And Rubik seems like a decent support, but now the golem's been thrown down was Mars and Earth Spirit. This looks like FFYV2 have the potential to be aggressive very early coming out of the lanes. And Neats, they're not the worst fighting team, but with Rubik and Shadow Demon, you sort of got some pretty papery heroes right there. Love to see them pick up a bit more control and show some cause now.
5 seconds.
Yeah, it seems like a fantastic strategy from F1v2. They've got, Inkswell, you've got an Earth Spirit who's going to roll on in, you've got a Mars to set on up, as soon as you've got a stun, you spear him into a tree and you get free kill after free kill here. So really, it's up to the Uprising to kind of get someone to pull this back, maybe something a little bit more defensive here in your offlane or your carries, because they are going to be pressured regardless. It seems like FF1v2, they're just looking to take the fight to you.
Yeah, it's interesting to see FFYV2 ban the Timbersaw, which of course we've seen them play probably better than any other team in the league, although, if they were set on picking Mars, fair enough. But then Needs Uprising ban the Centaur, and looking at the drafting pool now, Centaur might have been the hero that I was going to turn around and try and pick because, just the ability to disengage is so powerful. They're going to go for the Legion Commander instead, which is really interesting because that, you mentioned a defensive hero, and I'm not against that, right? But if you can disengage from the Mars Arena or the Earth Spirit Magnetize, this is not a disengaging hero. You pretty much only go in. The closest you can say as well, if someone gets silenced by Earth Spirit, you can purge it off. But, this is definitely a pick where Needs Uprising feel that they can take the fight to FFYV2. Even at this very strong timing, we already see FFYV2 creating with their first 3 picks.
I mean, if they do have one of those, solo pick-off lineups, if they've got that one combination, you put the Earth Spirit Inkswell and you hit this one target and Legion Commander is just waiting there, and I mean, he has to be in the area, he can kind of stop that. And on the bright side as well, Need Uprising, they've picked up the Shadow Demon themselves, so one of the actual counters to Legion Commander Duel already picked up by Need, so they don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, there's plenty of counters still in the pool, but I think the biggest thing is that FFYV2 appear to picked both their supports. So you're not going to go back for an Oracle or a Bane element or anything. Now, you could turn around and play Earth Spirit mid, in which case you would have room to pick that Bane. But, okay, they're going to go for the TB. I don't think you need to be that determined to counter the Legion Commander because it doesn't look like the best Legion Commander game anyway, if I'm being honest. Like, look at this, right? Who is going to provide the damage to get the dual kills early? Legion Commander is going to definitely need a blink to get in on these heroes and get the dual fired off. And it's pretty much just the TA who can deal damage right now. And sort of there's an argument that was the hero you were going to be trying to make space for. So I'm assuming that their last pick is going to be some harder carry and the TA is going to be more active. That still requires you to win the lane on Legion, win the lane on TA, and then be ganking with Legion plus TA plus probably one, if not both, supports to get dual kills.
It does seem like a tall order, I guess. Yeah, I mean, their final pick's going to be their carry, and traditionally, your carry doesn't exactly want to join the fights too early here. Is there any hero that can really just be picked up by Cloudy here that just really cinches together? Even if the TA can't actually be online by the 20-minute mark, maybe your carry can pick up a little bit of slack here, but it still seems like a very tall order.
Well, the thing that I'm noticing right now is that their lineup, like Legion Commander and TA, are tanky enough that this won't destroy their potential as cause, but their lineup is very kind of weak in terms of control. We're probably going to see them play a similar fighting style that we saw last night, where we had a team of very squishy heroes that just kind of spread the fights out as much as possible, pull the enemy apart, and just hope that, they can't focus down all of your heroes. At least one or two of your cores are going to be running loose and getting kills, even if your supports are getting just chased down, because there's no one who's saving this Rubik, right? From like Mars running at it. No. It's just going to die. But you buy time for your team. So maybe something like a Clinks could help with that. Another very fast-moving, high burst damage hero. The Burning Army is great for splitting up fights and punishing enemies who try to move back and forth across the area you're fighting in to target your heroes. Alternatively, you could go try and do something that deals magic damage, deal with the Terrorblade. I know Pangolier is a pretty cool counter to the Terrorblade. It's hard to get the Sunder off, obviously. The Rolling Thunder is great teamfight control, which they definitely lack right now. And you've got that Swashbuckle, which can, depending on where you put the Pango and how much you farm it, be a really strong counter to Terrorblade if you accelerate farm hard enough. They ban out the Void Spirit, which looks like it would have been a decent pick for them.
I was about to say.
Odd
It
draft.
does seem to be one of those Wynegod specific heroes that Demand knows how to play, and you just want to keep away from him. So maybe they're just going to go, hey, you might get a pretty good matchup here, but as long as you're not playing your signature heroes, we're going to be cool with it.
Although the last time that FFYV2 picked up Wynegod, picked up the Void Spirit, that was when we saw them drop the game to Neats, I believe. It was just the lanes got... The lane setup was too greedy. They had to change how they were playing their heroes, and the Void Spirit got extremely punished. We saw the big weakness of that hero is that you really need items to deal damage. Like, without items, the hero just does nothing.
10 seconds
which is kind of like, I don't think seems to be accounted for when they draft it, but they go for the Quap instead. Obviously, the Void Spirit being banned out. This hero actually does, fulfill that function of like a tertiary core, an initiator, just damage dealing, flat output, regardless of what items you have. So I actually like this pick better, even if they had the option to choose the Void Spirit.
Seems like they have a whole bunch of synergy on the side of F5v2. They've really got the way they want to take the fight. You put the Arena down, you get the Earth Spirit roll on in, and then you get the Queen to put the Sonic Wave in the back. And Terrorblade, he can be hitting creeps the entire time. But speaking of somebody who's going to be hitting creeps, Drow Ranger, the final pick for Neat Uprising. It's got a hell of a lot of silence and a hell of a lot of damage, but is it enough to take Neat Rising up this game here?
It's a pretty nice last pick. Like, I wasn't 100% sure what they were even going to go with. Like I said, they've picked a very difficult kind of chaotic lineup to play, but this at least has a lot of strong synergies, right? Like the silence is very good against the supports, especially the Earth Spirit and the Mars, even the Quap if she blinks in the wrong time and place. You've got another Agi range carry to give the changed marksmanship aura to, which is, one of the best things you can do, give it to the Templar Assassin. And now you have another source of damage that can help the Legion Commander get kills. So you just need to win 2 out of 3 lanes, not necessarily, win all of them. Their lanes are looking pretty strong as well. Drow is no slouch. So it is really hard. But this draft from Neats, it feels like a confidence draft. Like, you don't just pick these heroes out of nowhere. So I'm going to say that the Neats have gone away, reviewed the tapes. They're a really hardworking team, and I think that they have a plan here they're going to really wow us with.
Okay, that's a vote of confidence. Like, the planning is the situation here, even if you don't see where the pieces going together. Neat Uprising especially do. They picked every single one of these heroes to get these matchups and to get this play done. We were speaking about how Tackle was going to have a pretty, you would say, rough time here, and maybe Drow Ranger doesn't fix it, but maybe they didn't pick Tackle for the dueling. They picked him for the Disable and the Purge, 2 extremely strong aspects of the Legion as well. So Neat Uprising still thinking about how to deal with FFYV2, but then FFYV2 on the other side, they just want to put the Arena down and kill you. It doesn't seem to be, 3 layers deep, but it doesn't really matter if you keep getting kills, you keep getting cold, and you keep getting control of the map.
Yeah, I think your point about Legion Commander is spot on. I think the hero is definitely the sum of its parts. It's not like I picked this Tidehunter for the Ravage. The duel is not that big a deal. It's a very big deal. I've seen some really explosive Legion Commander games in the LPL from players like Musica and Xavier. But no, I think it is definitely for, the Purge and the laning power and the dual kill and the scaling damage. All of these things together are going to add up to hopefully what Neat Uprising need. I'm a little bit worried about FFYV2 if their Terrorblade doesn't have a good lane. I can't say a particular reason why he shouldn't, but it is the kind of thing where that is most of their damage. Mars and Quap can farm, but I don't think they win the game if Terrorblade has a bad time and the other 2 cores scale. If Terrorblade has a bad lane, then they just have to start making a lot of space for him. But with the duel online to give map control and the map pressure that a Drow lineup naturally exerts, it may be very difficult to catch back up if you don't get your farm early on.
Well, I was thinking, like, how they're drafting. It seems like they are drafting at least for the potential space here, because the 4 heroes that they've got together, Grimstroke, what are we talking about? Earth Spirit, Mars, and Quamp. If they work together, there's a whole bunch of space needed, and these guys don't exactly need too many items themselves, so maybe all their priority is just having this Terrorblade be the solo carry of their squad, and as long as they just make the space for him, that potentially
30
might be enough for
seconds to
them.
battle.
Oh, it definitely feels like a 4 Protect 1 or as close as you get to it in 2020. Like, I'm sure this Quap and this Mars are going to get items, especially if they do well in lane. If they do well in lane, you'll see the Quap like up at the top of net worth. But they only need the TB to have items. He's just got a lot of natural enemies that can hunt him if the lanes don't go well for them early on, right? Like, this TA is going to be such a threat to you if you're trying to just like catch up in the jungle with treads at 15 minutes in. So they need him to have a good start, I think, more than anything.
But say, speaking of good starts, they're not fighting. They're keeping everything safe. They didn't show the TB too much. He didn't go for the runes. He's staying safely in that bottom tower, as safe as it can be. But they didn't actually play aggressive top to claim these runes either. So both teams are playing very safe at the start of this game, just really amping up the importance of it, because these points are very important. Dropping a series is just going to be making a big difference as we go into, one more week of round robin, and then we hit the semi-final. So neither of these teams can make any mistakes this game.
Especially when you consider that, like, if it does come down to a tiebreaker after you lost this match, this team is probably one of the ones you're going to be, judging tiebreakers against. So you don't want that negative head-to-head record either. This could very easily be your win and in-game for the finals if you aren't careful.
And they've got to be careful, but so far everything is safe. Looks like Kylie's going to have a pretty good time in the top lane, because our Spirit generally isn't the best in the laning situation. The man brings a whole bunch of things to the ganking, but in the laning, it seems like Mars might just be left solo in this situation.
I mean, you pick out Spirit to roam. Oh, Wygod actually struggling is Kozi. Okay, avoiding that.
He's good.
Kozi didn't even really try to line up that side blade there, but it probably wasn't enough damage to have one hit, but certainly just happy to exert the pressure on Wygod. That's not how I expected the matchup to be going. I'm sure that Wygod has plenty of expertise in playing against TA. But yeah, good to see Kozi bouncing back and taking control in the mid lane after, having your mid hero second pick. That's no mean feat. You mentioned the Earth Spirit, though. That's going to be the X factor, right? It's like the Dota's last roamer, in a sense. Just so good at moving between the lanes quickly and picking up kills. And heroes like Drow, who are very static, squishy range heroes, that's the ideal target to roll onto, especially with Mars to follow up.
Well, it seems like the laning situation a little bit aggressive with the overwhelming odds, but mid lane is a little bit exciting as we throw Dags back, but Kozi is just lining them up precisely for these little refractions as he tries to keep Wygod back, doing a whole bunch of damage. And this is why we're seeing the platinum of the TA. He's pretty accurate. He knows precisely where he should hit, but so far the last hit's pretty even between him. Massway getting kept a little bit back, but he's getting just as much farm. In fact, all these cores are doing absolutely fine, and basically an even starting point for both FFY and Need Up Rising here. Even Fury, he's just sitting here trying to pull the wave, keep the creeps back, but then Chestnut in position, capable of keeping everybody back, unless you get the Inkswell on the overwhelming odds. The damage ending up, and with the pick on up, the stun is back, but can they save Chestnut? That blocks aren't gonna be enough, and Fury takes it. First one going straight to Need Up Rising, keeping Mass away back, and maybe Chestnut needs to play a little bit more careful now, since that burst damage from Need Up Rising is actually massive.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just as you said, Massaway is still doing well here in the bottom lane TA. I mean, he's not doing badly, and that courier somehow snuck through just after that fight finish and delivered a Ring of Taras that's going to be invaluable. But actually, out of regen, all these consumables already burned off, and that's the power of Legion Command, just the constant harass from a moment of courage procs that TB can't really trade with. And then you see, calls the Grimstroke over to try and reset the lane, and the Grimstroke dies. So this lane is actually quite strong for Neats. It's not a disaster yet for FFY, but could go bad. I'd be interested to see where we end up in a couple of minutes as we see Earth Spirit setting up some sort of trap for Kozi in the mid lane.
But there's vision of it, so they will not catch it. But Kess actually gets the ward as well. So now he is going to be completely blind, but I'm pretty sure Kozi knows Spirit hasn't left. So he's just going to take the creeps, move on back, get his regen coming out from the courier there, and just play it a little bit safe. But Wygod is getting a little bit of reprieve here. He's able to farm out without getting hit by any of his side blades. But F18, he's not feeling the same as he just gets kept on back every single time he walks into this Drow Ranger lane. It seems like sending this Mars solo is actually going to have an impact on this laning stage here. just keeping him back. And even Shadow Demon, it's not too hard to contest up to a Shadow Demon when every single time you walk up to him, he's just looking to disrupt you and walk away.
Yeah, Need Uprising did a really good job of drafting the wing lanes as an engagement at bottom.
Oh, tries roll, stun's gonna go on, but a kick on back keeps every stun back. Alright, nice little play from Kess, doesn't really work, but I do like the enthusiasm of going down for it, but they don't get anything for their trouble, so that's the second rotation that didn't really work out for the Spirit yet.
Yeah, that's really not good. You know, some heroes you sort of go, oh, that's however many black holes that they didn't get a kill out of, you know, bad Enigma game. Earth Spirit, you know, it's not his ultimate, but rotating from lane to lane like that and spending your mana and not getting a kill is nearly as bad on this hero. This is his time to shine. And Kess, we know, is a good Earth Spirit player, but just these are tricky lanes to gank right now.
It seems like it. It seems like you're waiting for a few levels to come before you can. You have Metamorphosis, but you kind of need to get the situation where you can set up for it, and it's not instant kills if you don't get the stuns as well. So it's very complicated in how to play, but the runes don't seem too complicated when we look for the Inkswell, but we're going to pick him up with telekinesis, get him back, and Fury does steal it. Going to take a bit of damage for his shoulders, but Kess is waiting on the high ground. What is Fury going to do? He's going to get kicked in the back, wait for the roll, and he is going down. So FF1v2, they are on the board. Ignis score, getting the runes, and maybe that's a little bit enough because Massaway is still farming all right, even if Tekor is actually accelerating and just pressuring him. Okay, leave him alone for 2 more seconds, and Tekor just takes all advantage of the opportunity. Maybe takes a little bit of hit from the stroke of fate there, but he is still feeling strong in this lane. In fact, all of Need Uprising cores, they're feeling strong. The last hits are going to be theirs. The gold is in theirs too, and it might be a worrying sense if your Drow and your TA get off to such a good start.
Oh, it's definitely worrying for FF5v2. I'd say things are definitely... Oh, as Wygod goes down in the mid lane to Kozi, and the tip! Kozi popping off!
Oh, man!
Wow!
Oh, that's what you want to see here.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, yeah, the counter tip, there we go. This is all fair and loves it. Oh, Tekor actually
bottom. We're going straight for Tekor. We're turning. Taking him down. If we gamble the regens enough, he doesn't get another kill. So the roll is nice. Tekor survives, and what looked like a good return kill from the side of FF1v2 ends up getting them nothing.
Yep, and that was another Metamorphosis cooldown. So now you're just going to see the Dire wait that one out, and Tekor is going to go back to really just sitting hard on Massaway's laning phase and crushing any farm this TV was hoping to get, restricting the CS as much as possible. And, you know, this is we're seeing, I think, the punish on the Grimstroke pick. It was their first, actually, Tekor, no fear.
Iggswell's coming in, but the pick on up from Fury saves his life again, so he just runs on out, clean sweeps it, and the Metamorphosis, it is basically done. So they get no kills again, as you pointed out, for this Metamorphosis. So it seemed to be wasted again by FF1v2, and maybe you asked the current farm, but Wygod did die mid, which means Kozi is having a fantastic time farming. He's back in the jungle, getting the farm, and Creep's gonna come back, TP back into this mid lane, keep some more creeps, and keep getting his advantage. And Cloudy, who we haven't seen too much of, he's basically been untested, 43-9 so far in the last hits. His net worth is probably reflecting the same thing, and as Wygod is in this mid lane, he's just taking solo hits from Kozi as he mans on up. Exactly what you want to see the man do. The mystery deepens, but the mystery is just going to be a whole lot of pain for Wygod and Tekor. This ain't your town, my friend. You're hiding behind it, and you're going to find Chestnut with stuns to the face, but it isn't long enough because this is level 1. TPM from Mars might be a little bit too late. It's coming, but the roll's going to actually land for Tekor. Can we keep him back to kick between two? The blast will be overwhelming on Dust Fishing, but the arena's going down, and he's cleaned it on up. Can he get the double? The spear will land, and he finished them off, so they do lose themselves Chestnut, but they get themselves a double, and it's big.
I've been saving up a big long rant about how good Tekor's laning mechanics are, but I'll just belay that. I'm not sure why you would dive so hard to pressure a solo Grimstroke. Like, yes, okay, you're forcing a teleport, but you know that Mars in the off lane is not only hitting level 6, but like desperate to leave the lane for any excuse to get out of this spot where all you're doing is eating Drow Ranger. Kozi just dives Wygod.
What? He's got 3 heroes here, but I don't think it's even scared. 2 seconds for another refraction. Kez doesn't even go in. He's not even trying to go for Kozi. Kozi gets a ward, walks on back, takes all the attention from FF1v2, and it doesn't hurt him a single bit. I mean, Kez hasn't left here yet, but Wygod is feeling so... Wait, he's dead. Wygod's dead. He blinked to the side and found himself a friend, and that's another death on the Queen of Pain. Well, this is looking a little bit of a disaster for Wygod, at least in this laning stage.
Radiant's top tower.
Yeah, it's absolutely been destroyed, which is crazy when you consider that this Quap was the last pick for FFYV2 and the Templar Assassin's second pick for Need Uprising. So they had really the entire draft to sculpt some sort of counter lane to this TA, find a matchup that was going to be favorable. I'm not sure whether WiGod just called, like, I can win this TA Quap matchup and just severely underestimated Kozi. Maybe it was the idea that you're going to have this Earth Spirit rotation because this bottom lane, it's funny how things snowball. The Grimstroke pick, just not a good pairing with the TB at all, and not a good defensive hero in the least, forces the rotation of both the other supports down to the bottom lane to just try and guarantee sort of a tied lane between TechCore and Massaway. And without those supports, we're seeing WiGod really struggle in this mid lane.
Yeah, seems like the struggling. It didn't happen on Need Uprising. All three cores, the top net worth. Right now, FF1v2, they kind of got a build for it, but unfortunately, as we've talked before really, Queen of Pain, Mars, not the fantastic farmers who want to come back from behind. Maybe TB can farm off a Storm in the jungle, but this is a situation you're kind of identifying in the draft. It isn't great. Maybe they have the abilities to pull it back, but still, Need Uprising don't seem to be scared about it. Tackle is still dominating in this bottom lane. Drow's feeling fine, farming in the top lane in the jungle, and Kozi is farming exactly wherever he wants. It doesn't seem like they can kill him, so what moves does FFYV2 really need to make to stop this bleeding?
I'm not sure. This is very close to, you know, you being able to say that they lost all three lanes, which traditionally can just be, you know, game over. If you decisively for the entire laning phase get out-farmed on all parts of the map, you have to question what your team does then, because you're at such a disadvantage. Like, look, every hero on the side of the Dire is significantly ahead of their counterpart on the side of the Radiant. But, I mean, the best thing they can do is use their teamfight ultimates. So once they get this level 6 on, at least the Earth Spirit, I think you want to group up, get the Arena down, use that Sonic Wave, use the Metamorphosis, use the Magnetize, and see if you can get a couple of kills. They're pretty good at finding objectives after they get kills, so...
Fury steals rolls back into him. He's walking away from Aswell. I think he's dead. He could have rolled the safety, but doesn't want it. He wants to get some kills in return, but it's only going to feed his death away. And that's a little bit of bleeding back, because Fury was worth quite a bit. That kill does, at least an assist goes to Massaway. And in the mid lane, they're making some activities happen too. They're finding it with the Arena, with the Sun, and Cloudy, who thought he could push this mid wave in. Is going to take some punishment, but Tekkel's moving in himself. Kozi with the blink reveal, just focusing back on this Mars, and the dual damage is going to be there. Tekkel picks it up. The Sonic Wave just hits back, and that's about it, which means Kozi, it's free lane to clean it on up. You've got a DD on a Queen of Pain, but does that even matter if she's running away? Jason down, Hidden coming in, Kess rolls in, but they just killed WiGod, and now Kess goes into his own death with a blink on forward Kozi. They claim 4 for the cost of Fury and Spag. Your towers are going. I mean, Massaway survives, but that just seems like a massive disaster.
I wonder whether FFYV2 could have retreated from that, like, a little quicker, because I really like the initial play. The kill in the top lane, that's fine, you know, the kill en route, because you said pretty valuable for a support, not terrific, but then the confidence coordination to immediately walk forward, throw down the Mars Arena stun, that just as soon as you see the Drow, just drop everything on her and be ready to take that fight, bringing your whole team in. That's the kind of coordination and, like, killer instinct that served them so well this season. But they kind of lingered. Like, that duel was not immediate on the Mars. It's almost like they saw Tekor run in alone and went, oh, is this a mistake? But you have to respect Tekor as a player. You know that the team's coming in behind him. They should have just left.
Oh, they're respecting by reinforcement. With 3 heroes between them and a 4th coming on in, they claim that bounty. They finally came Tekor, and that... I mean, there's still 4 heroes being lost in the previous fight, but that's kind of worth it. Tekor was accelerating quite a bit. He was basically even with your TB, who's your most successful hero, so at least slowing him down does put a little bit of cork for now, but if we're still looking at the other heroes, Kozi, Cloudy, both accelerating much faster. Their items are coming much faster, and that power spike, it's looking pretty fearsome.
Yeah, respect goes both ways, and Tekor just obviously a little bit deep there, but you can kind of sense in the forward position that, you know, he just died in there, that the Rubik died in the top lane. They're kind of happy just to have these heroes as a screen for the Drow and the TA. And if the Drow and the TA are accelerating, as you say, you don't really mind taking deaths on your 4 or your 5 or even your 3.
Fair enough, yeah. Put your priorities where the priorities are, and right now the farming is looking pretty good because you've got the mid lane, but the bottom lane is where we got the center. The little situation there, the plan to get some kills, some dual damage onto Teko here. We got 3 heroes on the side of FF1v2. Kozi, he's just heading back in the jungle, and even if Queen of Pain, she doesn't even have an Orchid if she wants to respond in the bottom lane here, so she's stuck in the mid lane, farming it up, and right now, Need Uprising, they're taking advantage by taking away control of your jungle as well, so really, Massaway, he's got basically 3 camps to himself, which he kind of needs to switch between the Queen of Pain's priority, who wants the Orchid to make space for Massaway, but then again, if Massaway doesn't get that farm, he's not getting the items to keep his acceleration up, and the one good hero is he's having a successful run. You kind of want to put your eggs in his basket, but right now the role is going to find Fury again, and the supports, they're being sacrificed. Little pittance that Need Uprising are given away to FF1v2.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Need Uprising fell back like that. They sort of retreated very quickly out of the Radiant jungle there, and I don't know, maybe they have a read that they're not as strong at that exact moment, but, you know, they leave Fury behind, so they give up another, as you mentioned, quite valuable support kill, essentially for free, and they give up that jungle back to Massaway, whereas before, exactly like we sort of said during the draft, they have the potential to really strangle this Terrorblade right now, but they do sort of need to. Like, they don't need to right now because the Drow and the TA are farming faster, they'll peak sooner, but I think you would rather buy as much time as possible so that you're not forced into an early high ground push, because they still haven't taken a single tier 2 tower. They're probably going to need at least 2 lanes of racks to end the game. You can sort of very easily project this game out to a really critical point where they need to go high ground and take a second racks, and you know, TB having one more or less item at that point in the game is what decides things. Kess going down
disruption setup. It's coming in. They're finding this fight. They've found himself the big kill because Mars pulls on in, tries to get the arena, but he's sacrificing his own life for it. They're marching forward. They see Chestnut. They've got to pop that trap, and is a trap enough? There is an X-Spell popping back, but I don't think they care with Cloudy just hidden, turning his back. He blows Chestnut up, blowing up some more chances for FF5v2 to have that farming space that they exactly wanted, and now Need Uprising, they march right on into Roche, getting a second life, and I think they're going to be using it to tank the tier 2 towns that you're talking about.
Yeah, we talked about how everyone knows how to win a game with TA, and it's not that complicated a plan in the drafting phase. We're now seeing, you know, step N of that plan executed, win a team fight and take Roshan. So Kozi, by far the strongest hero on the map, which is, you know, on a side note, you have to be really happy if you're Fury and you see him having this game. Last week was rough. Or the week that they dropped those games was very rough for Kozi. Oracle definitely humbled him, a real reality check, and it's good to see the player, you know, bounce back and immediately, you know, dominate the next match, especially against, you know, a very credible mid lane opponent. But now the big question for me is, what happened in the last team fight to the Quap? Did she have to blink out at the start? Because they got the great arena, and I think that if you hit the Sonic Wave combo where you sort of push the whole Dire team back into the walls of that arena, like, they're still very squishy outside of this TA and the Legion. I think bursting these supports and weakening the Drow enough that she can't freely stand and deliver is going to be your key to winning a fight. It's very possible.
It does seem like it, and I mean, Queen of Pain for what it's worth, she didn't join that fight, but she did use that time to farm up the Orchid finally. It has arrived, but then again, Need Uprising, they've arrived at your doorstep. They're marching at the tier 3 at the 17-minute mark here. They're not even stopping this. Tara's already halfway done. The Desolator does so much damage. Clanny gets it past all the creeps, but look at Mars. He's setting on up. He gets the arena. The blink is coming on in. They pin TA to the wall, but can they kill? They can, but it's Aegis time. She'll be back for round on 2, and now we're moving forward. The Metamorphosis is coming up. They've actually isolated Kozi between with the Magnetize, which damage she can't refract anything off. She's sold, but it's back. Saves with the disruption, but the Sonic Wave cleans her up. Kozi is dead, and now Need Uprising are running FF1v2 to defend. It cost them a whole bunch of HP, but it didn't cost them any kills on the side of their team. And maybe Need Uprising, they bit off more than they could chew there, but that was one hell of an initiation from F18 there.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I thought they might actually get punished for not having the Quap in the last fight because, you know, you can't just hit 4 hero arenas every day of the week, and even that arena left a lot to be desired. Obviously, the positioning from Need Uprising was very much sort of being aware of that potential, and you could see the Drow Ranger actually slightly outside the walls, wasn't taking damage, was able to just stand there and shoot. But it turns out the silencing power of the Orchid was enough, and maybe... Oh,
Kez. He's finding Fury. He will death Fury with some, but the damage might not even be there. Mars going to find Taker on the backside, but we're just going to get the roll, keep the control on Fury, and take the Rubik to down. He's gone. In fact, Spag's going to move in to try and save Taker, but Taker's going to be running. Overwhelming odds does give him the movement speed to get away, and with a little bit of invis coming from Gumcave, but they find Spag in the backside. The stun's coming in. Queen of Pain just jumps in to die, so Wygon put on out. It is a goddamn trap, and now Need Uprising there, taking advantage of it. Moving forward, looking to chase. Masterway is just moving so slow with the trap, taking his movement speed away, and the overwhelming odds increasing the legions. Chasing forward, the Spear's going to pin him to a trade, get him back, yes, even rolling on out of there, but Need Uprising Day for one fantastic kill and traded them a Fury, but they got themselves Wygon again, put him in the ground, and actually open up another tier 2 for Need Uprising to take.
Yeah, that's definitely a win for the Neats. They have the clear mobility advantage right now. Multiple Blink Daggers and Drums. They're really showing how to exploit that, even against, Quap and Earth Spirit. FFYV2 maybe not prepared for how hard it would be to catch those heroes. It looked like they had a good opening, but they just took too long to get the kills, and fight turns against them. So now, they lost to tier 3. If they lose a fight on their high ground here, it will be probably multiple lanes of racks. So they're desperately trying to fight outside their base, I think.
Oh, Cloudy coming in. Silence on Studio Spread. Everybody TP'd in for this defense. Mars actually pins Cloudy to the wall, but can they follow through? No, disruption to save. Wygon comes in, but it's a little bit too late to follow through. Mars is already dead. Cloudy is just surviving halfway through, but now Massway is being controlled by the Jill. Can't sunder a thing, and sunders himself to his own death, and now Wygon has to blink on back to safety, but they lost to TB. They lost to Mars again. Kozi still chasing down Wygon with Rubik in the back to get some little pins. The spear right on through. Kozi gets it. All 3 cores dead on the side of FFYV2. It's looking even worse. That 7k gold lead turned into a 10k gold lead. More towers being opened, more possibilities being opened by Need Uprising, but it seems like that hole is closing for FFYV2 to take any control back in this game.
Oh, it's heartbreaking to see how close they were to killing that Drow Ranger, and then you remember that the Quap is dead. Their mid-Quap did not contribute to that fight, died without using her ultimate. Like, she even TP'd in. And FFYV2, they've done it a few times this game. They've sort of given up quite a few free kills sort of after a fight, which is sort of like, it's a double mistake. Like, okay, bad enough that you were out of position and you weren't able to get to that fight, but then, like, why are you rolling your Earth Spirit after your Quap is, essentially already dead at 10 health to feed an extra kill? Why is your Quap teleporting in after that fight to die again when, the whole reason you lost the fight was because she was dead from being out of position a few seconds ago? Like, this is seemingly like a slightly less disciplined FFYV2. I'm not sure what's up with them tonight, but they might need to tighten up. Potentially in game 2, because like you said, they are running out of options in this one.
Running on back, keep that, the vision's back on the map here, make sure they can at least farm a little bit of time here while Tekral keeps his midway pushed out. So we've got at least a little bit of space in this game, and I guess while we've got a little bit of space, we might as well use it to thank one of our fantastic sponsors of this season of LPL, WE Black, our hardware sponsor, always making a great hard drive to save every single game that you've ever had. Doesn't matter if it was made in 1990 or 2016, they've got the space to save them all. You never delete them, and you can play them anytime you want, and we thank them for sponsoring this season of LPL.
You mentioned before the game, of course, that Cloudy has been such a prodigious player for them as a stand-in the few weeks they've brought him in, and I'm just impressed again at this Drow Ranger farm. Just such matter-of-fact play. Like, okay, yes, obviously it's not the most complicated hero on the face of it, but just being able to fit in with the team, it's almost like the role you want to put your shot caller on, because the Drow's tempo and the Drow's movements dictate so much of what your team is doing. So to have that be the role your stand-in player is on, seems like it'd be a real drawback. And Cloudy just fitting in seamlessly into this squad and leading them in a very dominating performance.
Oh, smoke coming out. They find the Mars, and they got Jill with Kozi hitting you in the back. That Jill is for real. Kozi's on a killing spree. Tackle's just building up that Jill damage. We're up to 56. The lanes are being pushed on in. Need Uprising. They look for an opportunity or an opening just to hit that high ground, and that might be it. Mars dead, no buyback. 30 seconds of space for them to use, but at least for now, they're going to be using it for farming at the same point of time. FYV2, they're doing the same old thing, pushing out these lanes, keeping it done. Queen of Paint in the bottom, pushing that out to force somebody back, but it has seemed like a stranglehold that Need Uprising have of this game. They can even take illusions here of TB and use it against you. That's not feeling great for FF1v2.
Yeah, and the real TB, of course, sitting under his tier 4s in the base, not hitting creeps, and this is exactly what I meant in the laning phase. This was the window that Need Uprising clearly also identified and have just punished super hard by winning their lanes, and especially the lane against the TB by bullying that Grimstroke TB kind of soft lane with their Legion Rubik, which is unbelievably strong. They just created this spot where now Massaway has no farm. And you mentioned when the laning phase broke up that there was potential for him to break out. He was sort of even farm with the Legion Commander. Well, he's still even farm with the Legion Commander, who hasn't really been farming. In fact, he's fallen slightly further behind. So we can conclusively say that the map pressure from, Drow and TA taking all the towers and the mobility of TA and Legion to blink on and kill, an immobile hero like TB who's just walking around the map trying to farm, has pretty much just ended his game at 10 minutes.
That's kind of rough to say because we're only 23 minutes into this game. I mean, it's a 16k gold lead, but you kind of think you have a few more minutes in this game. Well, I mean, you're hoping if you have a few more minutes if you are FFY V2. Guap is just finishing a Yule Scepter, but it just seems like Need Uprising, they're waiting for Roche to come up, and then that's it. That's their chance to take game one here. I mean, do they have the potential to take a team fight? It is still pretty strong with their abilities, but this gold lead is looking pretty insurmountable. I believe the BKBs are about to arrive on Need Uprising.
Yeah, that's I don't see any reason for Neats to push before they have the BKBs. And once they have the BKBs, it's pretty difficult to construct a scenario where they lose the fight. Like,
no, my God, he can't die. He's good. The Yule Scepter saves him. It was one hell of a pickup, but I mean, he's stuck in trees instead of farming, and then they have more map control. In fact, they're moving even more forward as Garni goes to the high ground and just going to find himself nice little kill the arena. Maybe no Kess is going to be dead as he rolls on in. Now everybody runs on back. Inksol to save. Inksol ain't going to save, but Cozy just shows up between the trees, says, hey man, you're going down too with double kill for Need Uprising as we just march on forward looking for the map. Chestnut Fort is safe inside his base. The Ghost Scepter might keep him safe for now. Stroke of Fate keeps him backward. Maybe they can turn it. Soulbind used on two cores, chains them together, but where's your damage? Where is Wygon? What's he doing? He can't do anything to defend it. He's back in the base, but his opening isn't there. GG. It's just called. Game one's done.
They took their chance. They did the same mental arithmetic, I think, as we did, and decided that they weren't winning this game in the long run. They saw maybe one spot to jump, knowing that a couple of heroes to just take the swap, and they tried to arena the Drow. And they just stood and delivered with Cloudy's Drow and gunned down the Mars, and at that point I think FFYV2 are mentally done. So they tap out. Fair enough. Strong game one from the Neats.
Yeah, I mean, they really came to impress. I mean, we're a little bit hesitant on some elements of draft. Like, okay, Legion Commander isn't having the best game, but then we prove that they know exactly how to play it in these matchups. Massaway, he had no game on this TB. He tried. My man, he tried. Every single metamorphosis was there, but he just couldn't put in that damage.
Where's Massaway's net worth graph? Because something I really want to look at. Yeah, you look... Okay, well, obviously wasn't even doing terrifically at the start, because you can see the lane just did not go well. But yeah, after 10 minutes, just meanders, not accelerating in farm at all on, like, your team is pretty much solo farming carry. And in the end, it ended up being just the Queen of Pain who had the rune to farm, and even she did not accelerate in items, just died enough times and was slowed down enough in the early game that no one was really having a great time on FFYV2. So very, very effective draft, exactly what we expect out of Neats Uprising. Just compare the 2 10th picks as we go to this break. Just think about the impact of that Quap, the mid lane Quap who got to match up against the second pick TA, against that last pick Drow that just, made the whole lineup come together.
Man, that just exudes confidence from Need Uprising, and I am looking for big things coming up because Game 2 is going to be arriving shortly, folks, so don't go anywhere. It's going to be coming up after this short break. And we are back after that dynamite performance from Need Uprising. The action is just going to be continued because Game 2 is coming up shortly. Need Uprising versus FFYV2. FFYV2 feeling a little bit off in Game 1. All their lanes kind of got just thrown to pieces by Need Uprising and their amazing drafting here. Entering Game 2, where do you think they really need to pick up on?
Yeah, I think you're right in identifying the draft. Like, obviously, there are a few players there. Wygod collected a lot of enemy tips that match and probably won't, put that down as his proudest moment. But it's hard to look good when you just get thumped in 3 lanes and then, you're right on the back foot for the rest of the match against a team who knows how not to relinquish an advantage while they grind out a victory. So, yeah, you got to take it back to the draft. You look at your picks and you go, well, clearly our Grimstrike support pick didn't really end up doing anything for our lineup. Like, I'm not even really sure what it was meant to do. There wasn't really single target spells on the team that they were enabling that are really powerful. Obviously, it's a strong first pick, but it kind of feels like they just picked it and then thought about what else they wanted. And in the end, they paired it with the TB, which was a pretty bad lane. But what else were they going to do? The Earth Spirit is their other support. He's not going to support the TB anymore either. So they kind of left poor Massaway out to dry there. Maybe pick a better support if you're going to go for such a farming carry. And then your last pick, obviously, the Quap into the TA. I'm not sure whether there was just something. Sometimes there's just one thing that goes wrong early on in the game that really can change the texture of a matchup. But whatever YGod decides was the reason that he lost that, they're gonna need to correct that or change their drafting priority, because you can't use your 10th pick on a Queen of Pain who gets bombed in the mid lane and then has no impact.
It was very interesting to see. Like that Queen of Pain was picked up pretty confidently. I mean, they didn't use much time to pick it up. They just got Queen of Pain, good matchup here. And once it felted off, they spent the majority of the time that Need Uprising was pressuring every single one of your lanes, taking your towers, keeping the Massaway away from all the creeps, farming the Orchid. And once the Orchid arrived, it really didn't do anything. I mean, Tekel was still waiting there for press the attack. So even if you got a big arrival on maybe a call here, Tekel just presses W. Your entire 4,000 gold or investment there, completely gone.
Yeah, exactly. Between the fact that they had the purge for it and the fact that, what is orchiding the Drow or even orchiding a TA really doing for you in a team fight where you're that far behind and they just have enough damage to shred your team? Like, the silence is not relevant at that point in the game. So you either needed to get it up earlier so that it would come in at a timing where it was more impactful and sort of pay for itself, or I don't know, go a different night. Just go Yules first and seed all the farm to TB. But that's the tricky thing, that's sort of the heart of like Dota theory over the last couple of years, and why heroes like Cop have risen to the top of the pick order. It's just that teams have really come to understand you can't necessarily always choose where your farm priority goes. Like in a matchup like that, where you lose all your map control, your farm priority is on your Cop now. Like, it doesn't matter whether you wanted that or not, but that TB is just not hitting many creeps today. If you wanted the TB to hit creeps, you needed to do more in the first 15 minutes. So, yeah, just a draft that was a little bit disconnected. I hope they have something written down. Maybe they just go back to like a really tried and true plan, because if you try and draft freeform against Explosive Fury, you can and will get outmaneuvered.
5 seconds remaining.
All right, now we're going to find if they can maneuver right on back. Maybe a little bit of shiftiness here, but right now it seems like they're going straight on up to the same old bands. Lena taken out again first by FFYV2 and Enterprising. They're going for a little bit different. They got the Batrider going, they got the MP going, leaving a whole bunch open for at least Need Uprising to exploit here. And if you are FFYV2, do we need to change our bans away from the Lena Kunka first too, or is that still fine because you're banning towards your draft again?
I think leaving Lena and I think we've seen Kozi play maybe like those heroes once each, if that. Like, that Kozi is playing the mid lane for Neats, and that Kozi's hero pool is, not the broadest. So I'm surprised that they're devoting time in the first phase to banning out heroes that are not his bread and butter.
Well, they're going back for it. So both Lena and Kunka off the board. So no way to pick those heroes up again. But Need Uprising, they can go back to the comfortable line, because I don't think there was anything wrong with Spag Shadow Demon. In fact, they're going to change it a little bit though. They're going to go for a Vengeful Spirit. Nice stun, nice aura, nice anti-armor and save. The hero that does basically everything and does seem to suit Need Uprising's, drafting style, which is just put either Cloudy or Kozi on these big dictating heroes. And if you have Avenge behind you, you're never really feeling scared.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. They already banned out the Batrider and the Prophet, but they've identified the FFYV2. They're very good at taking aggressive chances to initiate. And you saw, one of the highlights for FFY last game, the Boo1 Mars was really good, even when the team was behind it, finding initiations, especially onto the Drow, and desperately trying to punish that hero, and really made her look less powerful than she was, given the state of the game. So Vengeful Spirit, a great save for that. And now TB, a hero who, if you save this carry, can definitely just play back into a fight. That Sunder is such a threat. So, now Neats can try and show FFYV2 how to draft around a TB.
And I was about to say, if we're Cloudy as the stand-in here, one of his main heroes that this man spams, this man knows, he knows how to carry on a TB. This is his signature hero. So Need Uprising, they're putting a whole bunch of confidence in this man himself. And FFYV2, they're going back to a little bit of safety here. The Ogre Mars, which, to be fair, Mars is very aggressive in a laning stage. A pretty good answer to the TB still.
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, Mars, you know, does put out that height damage. TB in the lane,
5 seconds
it's not the
remaining.
worst matchup for him because at least you've got that high armor. So Mars often can bully heroes with auto attacks as well as the God's Rebuke, and is not going to be as worried about that. But especially if it is a Mars Ogre off lane, you do definitely need to respect this. Their kill potential at any time. Stun to set up a spear will be the death of you. And, you know, you may even want to pick up a different support other than Venge to babysit the TB, or even look at a tri-lane. It all depends. The second pick TB is aggressive, shall we say. Like, this is a hero that, because it has some difficult times in the lane, and even, you know, sort of makes your lineup vulnerable to being exploited like it was last game, you usually save until the end. So picking it second screams that there's either some trick, some secondary call later in the draft, and this TB isn't like a traditional everyone gather around and protect this carry TB, or that needs just to have some sick plan on how to set their lanes up so that they can't lose.
And run F5v2, they're not taking any chances. So taking away the Shadow Demon, so there's not going to be even more illusions of the TB coming on out to just abuse consistently. And Enterprising, they're taking an opportunity to abuse banding all the carries. Void Spirit is gone. Morphlin is gone. They can target all these heroes that are pretty typical good against the Terrorblade, able to burst them, able to control, and able to stop him from what he wants to do, which is just hitting you as hard as possible here. But do you think F5v2, they need to prioritize the other heroes here? Are you too worried about the support pool here, or are you still worried about what Tekka and Kozi can do? Because we do know, as we keep putting out, Kozi has that hero pool, and if you're leaving every single avenue open for Kozi just to play, that is still scary in itself. We saw the second pick TA in game one. It did so much work.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I can't say much on their approach to banding against Kozi. Like, removing the Conqueror and the Lina, they're clearly just, they don't like playing against those heroes. And so by, you know, banning them out, they sort of considered the minimum standard of work to be done in protecting their mid lane matchups. And now they're just trying to make sure that this Terrorblade has a bad time, because as we saw in game one, if you make sure the Terrorblade has a bad time and you take over the map, you've basically won the game against most Terrorblade drafts. And Neats are doing the right thing by removing these sort of magic nuking carries, because one thing that the Terrorblade lineup doesn't want to have to do is feel pressure to go and try and stop the other team's carry farming. Like, you want to know that your Terrorblade is winning the carry-on-carry matchup, at least at, you know, whatever timing you hit when you're ready to siege base. And so, yeah, removing the Phantom Lancer, another good choice. Wouldn't mind seeing an Ember ban even.
Well, I mean, leaving the opportunity open for them if they want to take it. PL's going to be the last band from Neat Uprising, so cause that are very good against CB. They're just being isolated down to a very few number of them. And what I was thinking about before from game one as well, if we do think about Lina and Kukas as heroes, these two are very good matchups against the Queen of Pain again. Could FFYV2 just be going back to put Wygod on the Queen of Pain again?
I think that Wygod is kind of like just entering the match like with an understanding that they're flexing between TA and Quap. And that's why those two bans come out, because they're just sort of these two very stable laners that don't get dominated. But you're right. Like, I definitely think that I'd be shocked if Wygod was like, don't pick me Quap after game one. Like, this team don't seem like the kind of team that gets shaken by one loss, even though it was pretty rough. You know, the question is just like, how far in the draft do they have to wait to pick it? I mean, they last picked it in game one and it still didn't do anything. So, you know, do they have to wait and see what Kozi commits to before, you know, counter picking it? That's a reversal from the Oracle Leeds game.
Yeah, no, that is true. Just putting different priorities on different heroes, just make sure every single person can work here. But it looks like F5v2, they're going back to the board with the Dark Willow. So big old team fights. But speaking of pickoffs and, you know, countering team fights, Tusk, he's going to punch you to the roof. And even if you have high armor with a TB behind you, they're going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage, even with Wave of Terror amping up that damage again. So it looks like all right click all day for Neat Uprising here.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, very, very high physical damage, even threatening some sort of potential tri-lane and like a hero who can make normally Mars and Ogre are pretty hard to dislodge from a lane, but you might actually be able to bully them out. If you play around the Tusk skills correctly, the tag team is just so powerful pretty much at all stages of the game. And what I also like about this pick, as opposed to any other sort of, brutal, strong laning presence support like an Undying, is that they've sneakily found another save for the TB. And FF5v2, go back and grab the Ember as suggested, sort of look like the standout carry that you could counterpick TB with after the other options were removed in the last banning phase by the Neats, and a strong hero overall, as we continue to say.
10 seconds remaining.
Oh yeah, every week he just seems to be proven strength after strength, and he does have a whole bunch of strength in this lineup. He can burst up illusions very fast. He's got the side effects that just keep on being safe, and he can build items specifically for his game. Man doesn't care if he goes Lincoln's Sphere, he doesn't care if he goes BKB, he'll pick it up anyway. Nita Pricing though, they see the Ember Spirit, and I guess they don't exactly have the best route to keep Ember Spirit in play. Do they need to, kind of adjust that? Or is the control that they have on every single other three heroes enough that Ember Spirit is just going to be there isolated by himself, looking to do some damage, but he's going to be spending most of the game just running back from the force of needs here?
I think Tusk and Venge are pretty decent picks against Ember, and that might be why they, banned other heroes and not the Ember in that last phase. Like, okay, you don't currently have a route to hold the Ember in place from maximum range, but at some point, especially if your team is strong and proactive, you are happy just with the Ember not being able to stand and fight you. And it's very difficult to stand and fight when you've got a tracking snowball, chasing you around. You can't just sort of slide it off or jaunt away with a, remnant across the team fight. You're going to get stunned, and then you're going to get Walrus punched and die. And Puck is only going to make that harder. So there's your lasting control and initiation.
A little bit of roots, and actually a fantastic Gozza hero, so they still get him real comfortability here. And I guess now FF5v2, they need to put their priorities around. Do we want to get the matchup against Gozza here to stop him going off? Tektor hasn't actually had his hero shown up yet, and we know Tektor is really dominant if the offlane, if he gets a fantastic matchup. And for most of the bans here, we've taken out the Timber, we've taken out the Legion, but we've still left a whole bunch of Tektor heroes in the pool. Phoenix, Venomancer, so many heroes he can choose from.
Yeah, I think the two that you just mentioned there, Phoenix and Venomancer, are probably high on the list of things that FF5v2 are afraid of. Obviously, you've got pretty strong combinations with the Phoenix, Egg, Puck, Tusk, and Verse, all very good at, disrupting heroes who are trying to hit it. And you're already a 3 melee hero lineup on FF5v2. Pretty difficult to smash the Supernova in the best of situations. On the flip side, we know how powerful Tektor's Venomancer is, and particularly against, a laning carry like Ember Spirit. If they do feel like Y-God is going to get the last pick hero, and this is actually a safe lane Ember, it's the perfect chance to bust out the Tektor Venomancer. We know it's very strong, and it just sort of circumvents, the hero's strength in the laning phase, which is Ember Spirit. You can, time your slights correctly and win trades by avoiding damage. It's almost impossible to avoid Venomancer's damage output. He just wears you down.
He just does. He keeps on hitting. He keeps on hitting hard, but they don't get the final pick at least. So FF5v2 will have the answer to the final pick of Needs, but the ban is being held for now. Last ban, it's going to be Nightstalker. So Tide, Nightstalker being gone on out, Need Uprising. They need their final pick here. And I think if we're going crazy enough, we could also just put Tektor on the park. I mean, you can just play that in a position for your role. You could just get a different mid if you really need. There's still flexibility in your draft.
The only thing I can say if you want to put Puck in the offlane is if you grab yourself like the Quap here. That would be such a... Because you see it's still in the pool, and as you mentioned, it seems like FF5v2 have been drafting around it. If you feel you can cheekily steal that, not only do you have a very strong, early-ish timing with TB, sort of your soul farming hero, you've got enough disable and nuke to make things extremely difficult for heroes like Ember and Dark Willow. You've got heroes with mobility to get out of the Mars ultimate. I'm actually liking that more and more. And presumably, if you do think that is FF5v2's presumptive last pick, you really force them to rethink. So I imagine the question is just, if you pick Quap, what is the most brutal counterpick that Y-God can unleash on you?
I guess we're going to find out, because 10 seconds. It's counted down, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. And we're going to be finding out where they're going to be putting it. The flexibility is going to be there, because they're going to be picking up for the Pangolier, which really can go anywhere. But that's still one fantastic Tektor hero. It gives the control. It's fantastic against the Mars ult and the Dark Willow, who thinks that maybe if you can't target her, if she goes in Shadow Realm, Pangolier is just going to be rolling right on through you. And it just seems like a fantastic final pick to just synergize with Need Uprising here.
Yeah, I'm always happy to see a Pangolier, one of my favorite heroes in Dota ever, and just really good at fighting against teams like this that kind of rely on space control abilities. You know, short of Black Hole or Chronosphere, you're going to be able to roll through everything from Ember Slight chains to, as you mentioned, you know, the Willow stuns and the Mars ultimate, and really wreak havoc. And particularly this Ember and this Dark Willow, you can't just get hit by a Pangolier. Like, if you throw down your Mars Arena and you get rolled through by a Pangolier, well, it's not the worst. It's actually not that bad a deal. But these other heroes, they're kind of too reliant on keeping, you know, keeping themselves free of disables. You don't want to get hit by a Pangolier and have Puck blink on you and silence you and follow up. So you are really forced to play awkwardly. And wow! That's not what I expected.
Anti-mage. The Lady Mage.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Auntie Mage coming out from Massaway. This is awkward. Okay.
I mean, it's a hero. It's not exact. I mean, Puck can hold him down, but he can farm up a whole bunch and maybe out-carry the Terrorblade, which gives you two, you know, late-game focused core heroes as opposed to the one Terrorblade that Need Uprising have, and maybe that's your opportunity that you're looking for here.
This is one of those things where it's like you're pivoting so hard, I'm afraid you might break your ankles. You know, you've gone from drafting what looked like we'll draft strong lanes and we'll just try and, you know, farm up around our Ember Spirit, play a very conventional game of Dota 2. Now we're kind of playing like 4 protect 1 out of the lane phase. We're just going to build like magic items on Y-God's Ember Spirit and just fight. And Massaway is going to split farm and hopefully we reach that anti-mage timing because... like, I'm not certain that anti-mage, like, the ideal anti-mage game plan beats the ideal Terrorblade game plan here. Look at Cloudy's impressive Terrorblade setup. I think it's going to be up to FF5v2 to, like, both enable Massaway and hunt Cloudy and really disrupt Neatz's game plan first, and then, like, Massaway's their insurance. But, you know, that's not a given that they'll be able to do that. It's tricky. They, you know, I'm not trying to say that they can't win. Their lineup is good, but yeah, very surprising last pick. I wonder how much of it was planned.
It seems like a bit of a reflex. Like they were like, okay, we're just got Ember at a safe lane, and then we'll just pick nice little mid here, just pick it on up. And then the Pangoliers is like, yeah, we don't care about any of your heroes. It deals with so much. We need to adjust. And their adjustment, I mean, it can work in some situations, but that situation is, what, 10, 20, 30 minutes from now. And your laning stage in game 1 kind of fell apart pretty quick for FF5v2. So is it a secure thing to rely on a better laning stage this game for the team, especially given Need Uprising's heroes?
I think so. Their laning supports just work out better. Picking the Earth Spirit in game 1 and the Grimstroke was just not the combo they needed. It made it too hard for them to pick core heroes that fit into those lanes later on. This time they went for a much more conservative Ogre Willow duo and immediately picking the Mars, which gives the Willow, you know, sort of the only slight question mark there, something that it's good laning with. It does mean that your top lane is going to be double melee though, that like Ogre anti-mage can be a little bit exposed, but I can't really see like what looks to be Venge Tusk like killing Chestnut's Ogre in the early game or anything like that. So, you know, they're just going to try and put a little bit of pressure on the anti-mage, and as I mentioned, it's more like the anti-mage is the late game insurance here. So FF5v2 in this game don't mind as much if Massaway is only like middle of the pack for farm after laning phase. It's more about, can you shut down this Pangolier's farm? Can you hurt this Terrorblade?
Well, we're going to find out if we can hurt anybody here because we're doing a little bit of adjustments. Terrorblade's going on the offline, going up against the anti-mage who, you know, both teams are actually literally avoiding things because we brought 3 heroes top to kind of get a little bit of gank off, and then FF5v2 did the same. They put Chestnut down bottom, maybe to secure these runes, get a little bit of first blood in theirs, but nobody's taking the bait. So the rune's going to be even, nobody's showing. Actually, no, Massaway, he slips on in and is able to steal one himself, so Cloudy ends up getting absolutely nothing. Maybe they get a little bit of information of how these landing stages is actually going to be going, but for now, it seems like we're just playing a little bit of musical chairs. The mid lane, yeah, but just got Fury putting a little bit of deep vision there, just trying to get a little bit of pressure, trying to scout it out. And Mars, he is heading top to face up with this TB, and so far, anti-mage going down bottom to go against this Pangolier.
Yeah, so they're definitely, this is one way to use tag team and like Halo Terror level 1 for sure, and Metamorphosis an insanely strong level 1 skill, so Yeah, this is going to be tough.
Here we go. We're going to find out with tag team meta.
Yeah.
Boom, gone. Kess dead. He cannot drop that. Dark Willow has no HP and it takes like 2 hits from Curly just to destroy him. And now Mars comes out without a partner to help him out. And now he's dealing with a tri-lane. But then again, FF1v2, they have the opportunity to, you know, kind of pivot into a tri-lane themselves. Maybe they do send the Dark Willow bottom just to secure this anti-mage, maybe, or they're just like, okay, it's just a Pangolier, what's he gonna do?
No, I think you. Oh,
Mars,
oh my
he's
goodness.
gone.
Okay.
He's out of here. This lane's on a lane.
That's very weird. Yeah, I was going to say, I was about to say, look, I think Kess may have actually just said, I'm going to run in and die and make them spend Metamorphosis. But, like, then you have to wait for the Metamorphosis to end before you go in the lane as the Mars. Like, your support did the right thing and blew this, like, 3-minute cooldown so you get to start in the lane. But just jumping the gun, maybe underestimating their how fast they could kill him under tower and ends up feeding a second kill. That's really not a good start. And yeah, it's tough to know how to lane, because you don't want to leave the anti-mage solo against Pango, but...
They're still fighting. They're finding Mars. He's so low again, and he just came back. Gonna be going behind down. I don't even know if he has a self, so maybe that's just gonna be his HP for a while, which is really just suffering on this Mars. This man hasn't even got close to a last hit here. Tackle, he's still feeling comfortable bottom. He's getting as much pressure as he needs. Anti-Mage is doing well, which is fantastic, but then when we look at Cloudy, he's doing much better than anyone else. And if you want the CB to accelerate from the start, that is looking pretty scary. Maybe FF15 does get the self out from Dark Willow to rejoin this lane, but the pressure is still feeling massive from the tri-lane of Need Uprising here.
Yeah, this is looking eerily like the last game, although Tekko looks like we'll have a bit of trouble in this lane just because can't afford to get mana burned out and pretty much has to be forced off the grid.
He's going to be held down. Gravimate's going to be there. No, Snowball to save. Going to be running, trying to juke everybody. He probably want to get shots in between, but okay, he survives in the end. He's going to be juking in between trees. He is out of here. Spears off the mark. Rycler's going to find him. Kess does see it, but he ain't going to die. He's back to safety. They get absolutely nothing on the side of F1v2. Feeling a little bit, you know, jovial. He's gone. He's good. He's actually able to gank now, which is pretty exciting after how well this tri lane has gone.
Yeah, I mean, things are going pretty well for Need Uprising. Not overwhelmingly, but yeah, definitely in this top lane at least. Did Buwan's last auto attack actually connect there on the Mars? It just seemed to do no damage.
No.
Like, absolutely no damage. It seemed like, I was like, did you just animation cancel the last hit?
He might have. Maybe he lost vision just for a couple seconds there, and Kess doesn't have a single bit of damage because of Dark Willow, and really just Fury just bumped it off. He's like, oh, god damn it. The man gets out, but... I mean, okay, if your draft is looking at 2 cores that need a good time here, and Ember Spirit, Anti-Mage, they're having good times inside of FF1v2, and that's what we're pointing to before, a core that can make some ganks and, you know, at least control the tempo. Ember Spirit can work. Anti-Mage for your late game securance is working all right, but then, as I'm speaking, Wygod goes down to Cozy in the mid lane. Tips between teams, but I don't think you want to be tipping that if you're really relying on the Ember Spirit here.
Who one's dead again? Oh no, no follow-up. Okay. Yeah, Tusk's in bottom. Yeah,
no Fury this time.
I saw the very aggressive stun. I'm like, oh, the follow-up, but no, they had to move the explosive Fury Tusk down to bottom lane because Tech Core, unfortunately, Pangolier, as I've said before, it's a very weird laning hero. He kind of tends to do just slightly below average against a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, any Mage's mana burn makes it impossible to use your one laning tool. So they had to bring down this Tusk to just kind of bodyguard Tech Core and make him not casually lose all his mana in trades.
Booga, get careful. He's disarmed. He's losing his HP, but he is so goddamn tanky. The man's got a lifesaver on and saving his life. Snowball to control the anti-mage who already uses Blink. He's disarmed right now. You've got to run back. Fury is taking some swipes from Chestnut as he runs back into trees for safety to Jukin. Fury is insane. He's done it twice. How does this man keep going for it? And they get massed away in return. They're moving forward. The mangoes are ready. 3 seconds for a snowball, but the kill is coming and Need Uprising, they're looking for 2. They're gonna be able to get it, and they take him down. Speaking of which, same point of time, top lane, Cloudy gets another. Buwan goes down, F18 taken out of Mars, dies again, Cass can't save a single thing, and that is rune timing, which means Messaway literally TP's down to get them, and Cozy mid, he's going to be careful himself. Can he get a revenge kill? He is going to be rooting him under the tower. Can he break it? Does he break it? He's so low to self being used, he's leashed, he can't sleep. But he does use back, he's running the haste rune's going to be fine, he's good to go, but man, that was just a disastrous minute from FF1v2 there. They don't even get a return kill on Cozy to make them feel a little bit better here. Is that okay? Because, I mean, Masaway is still farming in the bottom lane. He may have died, but he is still getting it. And I guess Ember Spirit didn't die, if you're looking for positives.
My judgment is colored by how absolutely unnecessary that mass away death was. If I am Chestnut, I am flaming my carry for dying there. Like, I sacrificed my life to save you, and you walked back in on 10 health and baited the Pangolier, who just Qs you and kills you. Like, what did you think was going to happen? You were just, why take the risk that he might hit you with this sort of instant cast skill? It seemed very foolhardy, but you know, it's not game over. On the other hand, even if the animator was farming well, like I said, oh no, mass away. Yeah, okay. Like, this animator is not going to take
He
over
put
the
2
game
points in it too.
Animage is not going to take over the game fast enough to make you not have to face the like strong timing of Need Uprising. So the win condition is not just farm my anti-mage. It has to be farm my anti-mage and slow down the Radiant, or farm my anti-mage and also build up my team enough that we can like defend our high ground against them.
All right, now the roll's coming on in. No, baited down by Teckle. He's just playing around with Massway at this point because he's level 6 while Massway is level 4. So XP difference is feeling a little bit massive right now. In fact, the XP is all going in the Enterprising card. He's having a great time in this top lane as he cuts this little camp to himself. The bottom way is being pushed on in. Find Massway again, forcing blink, but that means Jetsign is left by himself. So you can just hit him a few times as you send him to hide behind his tier 1 tower. So the lane pressure feeling great from Need Uprising here. In fact, the net worth is feeling great in himself. 1k gold lead, which is all on the Terrorblade. Exactly the hero you want. In fact, blink aggressive from Massaway. He self on up, but then he just lost it and got down more HP than he did to Tackle. TP coming in. Wildcard's going to make the response, but the roll is good. Tackle's coming in. Fury will be sacrificed, but he wants to put a little bit more damage in coming. But it's a coil from Kozi. It finds him. The Ogre. Can it find himself anything more? No. They're looking for the assassinate. They're going to be finding the anti-mage when he blinks away, and the Remnants are going to be finishing off Tackle. The greed cost Tackle his life here. They trade it for an Ogre Magi, and Kozi does end up getting something for his rotation here, but still, that's pretty favorable for FFYV2. Tackle was worth quite a bit, and that is space for Masue himself.
Yeah, and you feed some kills to the Ember. That was definitely some miscommunication there between your Puck and your Pangolier as Buwan gets gone on the top lane.
Oh no. The party has arrived and he doesn't want any part of it. You pin him to a tree, but they put him in the ground. Mars out of here. Another kill for Need Uprising. Cloudy is getting so much space again this game.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate when you do something like pop the Pangolier ult without the Puck really there and then feed away your Pangolier because you thought your Puck was committing, but it ultimately doesn't matter. Your team is just getting so much out of the rest of the map. Like, TechCore is just getting his levels, which he needs to down here. Even if he's just rolling Thunder and fights, the team is going to be fine, whereas this Mars is a hard hero to completely eliminate from the game because the arena is so good, but like, I think they do want a little bit more out of the hero right now and they're not going to get it. So being destroyed.
Cass behind the tower is going to get a little bit of pause as we think that the Ember has DC. I do like that Fury say he's just standing still for too long. Fury's like, maybe it's happening. It's an illusion. What? What's going on? Oh man, Fury, he's looking out for his friends, eh? But I like it.
Fury actually too nice. Like,
too nice for his own good. Yeah, not nice enough to leave Kess alive though. That's just going to allow Cloudy to be dominated. So Paul just comes back in the Darkwood.
Honorable player. Doesn't want to kill a DC'd man. It's like, actually, that is my illusion. I'm playing the game. Please continue.
It's debate.
Fun interaction between these teams, but not much else going the fun way for FFYV2 right now. This Massway anti-mage, I mean, you're still progressing your items. Oh my god, look at that damage. Yeah, it's going to get hard to farm for a little while.
He doesn't even have himself a jab. Yeah, it seems like Teckle is fine.
Wow.
He got a little bit of help from Fury, and now he's just baiting out the attention here, keeps Massaway back. Every single one of these heroes just feeling a little bit trapped behind their tower here. Spag is getting some good XP in the mid lane, while Wygod level 8. I mean, he's doing all right, but Kozi is still making the moves on the map, which is exactly what you want to do on one of Kozi's signature heroes here, which it's seeming a little bit scary at this point. The 10-minute runes are coming up, but it doesn't seem like we can really make the plays in a phase. They come from the Uprising again, because they're in the bottom lane ready to fight these runes as it comes.
Yeah, I think Need Uprising definitely served by taking away all the enemy tier 1s and just like closing off the area of the map that's available. You've got an anti-mage and an Ember trying to farm. That's going to be pretty difficult if you lose too much map control. So, you've got these sick ultimates up. You've got a Puck and a Pangolier to team fight around. Now they're closing in.
Chestnut tries to go for the rune, can't do it. Tackle's going to find his. I think Kozi wanted it because he has a bottle, but that's cool too. You get a double rune in the bottom, which is fantastic for you. You get a kill on the Ogre, as well as he goes to try and steal the rune from you, but he gets absolutely nothing. And it's feeling like FFYV2 really have nothing to play with right now. Mars just got destroyed so high on the laning stage. I mean, he's going to be level 6, but he doesn't seem to be looking to leave that top lane at all to really secure these lanes. And Anti-Mage, he's gone to the jungle, which is fantastic for Anti-Mage, but the mid lane looks like we're going to have a fight. We try to go for Kosi, but we can't go Kosi. Everyone just gets back to safety, and you don't lose a single hero. But then again, FFYV2 trying for another play, and it seems like it's going to earn them their tier 1 tower crumbling.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, both games have just been really, really heavily influenced by the lane matchups. It seems like, oh, hang on, Techcore, thinking about a role.
He's trying. Is he going to solo both these heroes here? I mean, he has a swatch, oh man, you got to go for the arena in the mid lane. It finds himself Mars. It might be an opportunity. They've got the fear into the walls. It's great, pulls him back, but Fury saves everybody in the bottom lane as well. Tech manning up again. Massway goes for swatch, can't really do it. Kosi gets turned in back. Like, Guess is finally cleaning up on the side. And now Wygod's moving forward for more. Chestnut back and bottom. This is going to be burning down Tucker as, you know, his final rights as he died before, but he gets some revenge back on the Pangolier. So the kills are 3-2. But not even done. Wygod under the tower to swap to get Clanny a little bit closer, a little bit aggressive here to save Spag, but that is going to keep everybody alive. We're good to go. We didn't lose a single soul unless Wygod goes down to the range. No. Nice Grapple Mage coming out from Kesses, saves Wygod, keeps him alive, and FFYV2 was saying they didn't really have the plays making, but they had a good response there. The combination of Arena plus Zephyr coming out from Dark Willow is insane when you add the damage of the Ember on top. It just seems to be like a meat grinder. As soon as Neat Rising come on in, they're not going to be going on out.
Yeah, the Mars Willow, a classic combo for that reason. If you can line it up, it's a little bit tricky at times because, of course, the arena doesn't last forever. And if you want that full duration Terra, you have to kind of be pre-channeling it, like sort of as tightly as you can. But this is a team who we have noted to have great teamfight coordination, and all it takes is 1 or 2 of those for them to get back in the game. A little bit of extra luck even down at bottom lane as Techcore went for it, committed a swashbuckle, try and kill the Anti-Mage, and slightly misaligned the Q vector, I think. Missed like 1 or 2 of the attacks. So who knows whether that would have been lethal or not, but it was a very fine margin, and suddenly you end up not killing the AM, and you're stuck between the tier 1 and tier 2 towers on very low hit points, and end up feeding away a kill instead. So, you know, it's only a 2k gold lead to the Neats. Their Terrorblade is doing extremely well, which makes that number like scarier than it reads by itself, but you can't be too careless here.
Oh, no. We're waiting for the big timings on FYV2. The Battle Fury is coming. The smokes have arrived. They've seen the arena once, so they want to use it again. There's going to be moving on into the mid lane, where they know Neon Uprising want to put the pressure. Tech already shown, actually going to get the chains back on the Kosi, keep him there for now, but Fury is waiting to secure everybody. But how do we initiate? Side of coming out to get Tech down to half HP, but still seems awkward to go on in. Nice little shards coming out, but the shards have already been used, and with the chains holding down Tech, he can't actually roll away. The spear finishes him off, but the spear's going to be out of the root. It's gone for the swap. Breaks it up. What can they do? The snowball save. Fury's going to be dodging the fear. They're going to move it on back to back. Maybe Spag dies to this, but Kosi chain, Spag chain. The remnant's coming in, but he dodged it with his phase shift and gets away. Spag looks like the sacrifice. Fury going down, and FFYV2, they're cleaning up. Hawaii God chasing forward. Going to be silenced for now, but he can just turn around. Slide a fist as he wants. Gets himself back. Kosi just walking away safely for now. Cloudy, he wasn't turning up in his fight at all, but still FFYV2, they're taking some control back. And Massaway wasn't needed at all. He's had so much space for the past couple minutes. He's pressuring the tier 1 tower, and his items are coming. And I think at this point, now, you might want to be worried if you'd need Uprising there. That was a bit of an act of aggression that really didn't work out as soon as the teamfight power of FYV2 just hit you in the face there.
Well, I think the biggest deal is that the teamfight power for Neat Uprising is concentrated mostly in this Pangolier right now, and for some reason he lost half his health just tanking tower shots to the face and died, like basically couldn't fight. Just got in this awkward spot where it's like he's just standing there and just gets nuked and dies. He can't really do anything. You don't really want to commit your Rolling Thunder in that situation because it's also a terrible spot to use Rolling Thunder. Again, I don't know. It seems like they are struggling to line up the Dream Coil and the Rolling Thunder together. That's like 2 fights now where there's been very awkward over positioning from Techcore, and Kosi hasn't quite been there with the puck in time. But, I mean, at least Cloudy was farming the entire time as well, and that's actually, I'd say, more valuable at this point than the farm on the AM, because Cloudy, make no mistake, he is the hero right now who is going to dictate, like, the first real key, like, match-deciding timing of this match. Unless they gank him repeatedly, like, he is going to accelerate, get his items, and then they're going to run high ground.
Techcore shouldn't be here. Tekko got caught again. Fury going to try and send, but it's too late. You do have another Dream Core back, but it's not earning anything but what? No, nothing. Matsway isn't dead yet. He's strangled no matter what. Fury blinks on back. Now Fury's going to be sacrificed to Spag in the high ground. Kozi getting caught by the arena. What is happening here? Nina Uprising just playing so aggressive, which is just earning them so many deaths. They've lost 4 heroes, which they didn't need. Tekko didn't need to walk up to the high ground, initiating this chain of events that is just losing the gold and the control and just opening this game wide open for FFY V2 here.
Yeah, I don't know. Tekko and Kozi need to get on the same page. That was another fight. I'm sure they are looking at the heroes and they're going, well, we keep messing it up, but we're a good team. Like, on paper, we win this team fight if we just use our ultimates correctly. And Tekko finally going to get a rolling thunder off.
This is the vengeance. Can he make up for it? He's finding Dark Willow bouncing back between him. You can't shut around the ball as he hits you a whole bunch. And Dark Willow is dead, but what else can they find? Maybe this Ember. He does have a little bit of mana, can't dodge that stun. Nice little tree to get blocked, a little bit of vision there. I do like that play, but it didn't really earn him much as they get back to safety. So maybe Neon Uprising defend that tier 1 tower, but it costs them, what? So many deaths, you got a Dark Willow in return. Maybe the Roche is your opportunity, but that is meta as well. Until once meta's done, you can't exactly push with this Aegis if it's on the TV too easily. Tekko, very low. Oh my man. Gotta play careful.
That's fine. As long as they don't get ambushed at this Roche pit, which is a real chance depending on how slow they start taking it. They're just gonna get it and then wait for meta cooldown and then decide to go. But taking them Roche on, really good idea. Definitely, like, for all that they are messing up these fights, Need Uprising, their game plan is still intact right now. They haven't. This is the mark of good teams, is that even when bad things happen to them, they know what parts of their lineup are important. They know what to protect. The fact that Cloudy hasn't come to any of these fights really kind of puts a cap on how bad it can go for them. Because they can lose all their other heroes, and if the TB is still farming, now he's, you know, basically as powerful as he was going to be, has the same items, has that same Aegis, the other heroes don't matter as much. Although I would love to see a Blink Dagger on Kozi. That's what's been making their fight so hard. Neither the Pangolier nor the Puck has a Blink. Now the Puck has a Blink, your ideal combination is the Puck actually goes first and Dream Coils, and then you know that when you're rolling Thunder, you're going to have these sitting ducks to line up and hit with your ball. Whereas if you have to roll in first, it can be very awkward to actually line up, you know, hits on multiple heroes and then have the Puck follow in, and that's what's actually been costing them fights.
And right now, it doesn't seem like it's costing FFY2 too much. They've been farming the Ancients, stacking it up. Look at these items drop left and right. You've got the nets, the items you need. Dragon Scale helps you push as well, but Matsway, the big winner of this situation, he's got the Battle Fury done. The Manta is coming, the items are scaling. He's got to farm much faster than the TB eventually, and it is looking scary as we get closer to the late game situation. We still have an Ember and an Anti-Mage versus, what, Cloudy, and, I mean, Puck is fantastic with his item build, but he's not exactly the late game core in the nature of Ember and AM. He can't do the same job, and maybe Need Uprising, they need to be pushing this a little bit harder, slow down the games. Would you want to see a smoke gank, or are we just trying to push up these lanes and take these towers and get this game done? Because still have a 5v2, they're not going to give you any chances. Fair enough.
And they're doing what they should be doing. I mean, it's the kind of thing where, like, yes, they definitely want to go faster, and I'm sure Cloudy hasn't been too pleased to see, you know, 4 heroes at a time just feeding kills, because that makes his game harder, right? That puts much more pressure on you as the TB to not mess up, because your window is being artificially shortened by, you know, feeding away kills to enemy carries. But the window is still there. TB finally has the items. Now they're ready to push. They didn't jump the gun and throw away the really valuable TB kill by trying to force a push earlier or bringing him to a fight. And so now they are going to get their shot at the dire high ground. I don't think FFYV2 can really posture effectively to prevent this. They just have to go back and defend. And if anything, what it means is that Neeps might only get one proper chance at this. Like, if they mess up the high ground, the farm that's on the AM and the Ember, like the fact that they've sort of done well in the last 10 minutes means that, you know, it could slip away from Cloudy very quickly.
Yeah, it could. In fact, Cloudy's playing it very safely at this point, just letting his illusions do the damage as they push in this mid tower here. Every single other hero of YV2 defending it, completely making sure it is safe. You also tier 2 tower on the top, and maybe your outpost here as they secure it, and a tier 2 in the bottom. It's still standing, and I don't think they're going to be able to take it in time, but now Fury, he's going to be trying to take some revenge as they just destroyed Chester, but that is just the Yoga. The Shard's not finding a single hero on the backside. Maybe they can retreat, but they've got themselves a Dream Call instantly snapped by the Dark Willow, charging forward. The Sun's going to be there, but they want the Ember, but it's Ember. You're not finding a single thing. The roll ends up with nothing, and maybe you get some towers out of it, but 20 minutes coming up, and your abilities, they've been used. Dream Call is down. Rolling Thunder is gone, and now FFYV2, their vehicle around them, got the Brand Mates, give her back, but there is your arena. Where's the spear go? It pins back to the wall, but Mars so low himself. The fear is massive, though, cleaning up as they run on in, but now Cloudy, who's Metamorphosis, he's trying to get some damage on. He will be stunned up with the crown, but can they finish him off? No, he's going to be sundering it and turning right on back. You can't kill this monster yet as he charges forward. You've lost Cozzy for the trouble, but with the punch on Fury, it finishes off Dark Will, and maybe they get some more here. Massway looking to get Fury in the back. Nice little sharp block, can't block himself up. He's going to go down, and now Cloudy running back himself. He does have the Aegis, but only one meta to use it with, so he's charging back to safety as he can, but still pretty alright find from Need Uprising, but still, FFYV2, you defended your tower, you got yourself Cozzy again, slowing down his item build and getting even more space for the anti-mage to farm.
Yeah, that was a big win for FFYV2. They were maybe a tiny bit eager in committing straight on top of the Aegis Metamorphosis TB, you know, and they did fit a couple of kills, but importantly, I was talking about how Neats are okay to take those trades in the early game as long as Cloudy is farming. Well, it's the same concept where they're allowed to feed, you know, a couple of heroes to the TB at this point in the game. The TB is already kind of peaking. The fact that they kept their AM and their Ember alive and got kills on them and broke down the push, so now the Radiant are kind of like well back on their heels, that's a huge win for them. And I just have to come back to like Cozzy on this puck. Last time he played it was back-to-back losses in that O2 series. And it looked very awkward. And I chalked that up to having to lane against Zemistry and getting sort of a weird pick priority in the draft. But this game, we've got the very late puck pick, and Cozzy's had a decent lane, like a good start, had a great game last game, so confidence must be high. Must be said, some weird team fights happening. Had a Haste Rune there, right? Had a Haste Rune running the whole fight, ran in and still just immediately threw a Dream Coil on the very first hero he caught a glimpse of. I'm sure he thought there were like maybe other heroes next to the Willow, but ended up just coiling the Willow. Like, if you have a Haste Rune, surely you can just wait another 2 seconds, haste in the middle of their team, and get a proper Dream Coil hit. So that's how they ended up wasting the Dream Coil and throwing away the Pangolier Rolling Thunder on top of that. And that's why FFYV2 played so aggressive, because once those skills are down, they said, this is our best window. And like I mentioned, they have that killer instinct. When they decide it's time to fight, they go, and they get paid for it.
Oh, yeah. They did. They just took them down with no fear. I mean, Cloudy did a whole bunch of damage, but it didn't really earn much. Maybe they're going to get Chestnut again, but it seems like just Ogre is the sacrifice that they make to have so much map control and freedom for their cores to do what they need to do. Maybe Cloudy is top net worth here, but Anti-Mage isn't falling too far behind, and Wygod has still got a hell of a lot of farm, 2,000 ahead of Cozzy on this puck. But with a Butterfly and a Sergeant Yasha and a Drums picked on the TB, they're not going to be leaving too much pressure themselves. Maybe just charging forward. Actually, was that a BKB? That was a BKB taking down the Courier. That's kind of massive if they know that. I don't think they can really tell that, but that means Anti-Mage for the next one won't have his BKB ready to go.
I thought I was looking at the TB, whose Aegis is expired. I thought, oh yeah, okay, replacing the Aegis with a BKB. Classic stuff. But yeah, stopping Massaway's next item is very big. That actually maybe makes this next fight more winnable and extends the window, because otherwise Need Uprising this game was starting to turn sour for them pretty fast, as they missed their chance to push with the high ground with the Aegis. Cloudy is just now farming the BKB, it looks like. So yeah, now this TB basically can't fight until you have that item, and by the time you have that item, like the AM is going to have his BKB ready, and this Ember Spirit can go for one if he wants. Like, this is getting tricky now for the Needs. They need this Pangolier and this Puck to step up.
There's some real good points coming out. Tackle's been a little bit off the mark, but the man's been playing aggressive, looking to set up for his team. Maybe it's not there, because really it's still a hard situation for him to pick on up. He's trying to go for an Ember Spirit who's just being able to remnant away, and that seems to be his priority target. Even Anti-Mage can blink out of safety, and the smoke answer right now from FYV2 is not going to allow them to think about how they're going to initiate a fight, because they're going to be forced to fight it as they try to push a Tier 1 tower here. Wygod TPing, and Tier 1 tower is gone. Play forward, is going to get the arena and pin Cloudy to it with no BKB. He can't force off that stun. He's rooted, but he gets a Sunder off the meta doing the damage. Ogre is dead again, but right now Mars being traded. Fury is dead, and Ogre's going to buy back instantly, join this fight again. Sunder is down the moment. It's much damage bursting down the TB as well. I'm going to be able to save, but Wygod so low, can't do it. Massaway jumps on him, blows up with the Mana Void, and now they're cleaning on up. Tekel, no mana, no damage, looking for the disarm, but it's Cozzy who finally arrives to finish it off. 4 dead on each side, with the buyback of Chestnut is actually going to make it a 6 as Cozzy baits around, cleans him up, and Need Uprising win the fight, but it's by the sliver. and I don't think Kozi can get much out of it, but still, the kills are massive, the pressure is good, and that turns 6k to your advantage here. Is that exactly what Need Uprising were looking for?
I think it's about neutral. I mean, you killed the enemy cores, which is a big deal, and yeah, you got the Yoga dieback or whatever, but the fact that they don't have the Terrorblade buyback available means that, you know, like the last fight, even an even fight stalls them out, and the late game does favor FFY, so you can't be really excited about losing your push that you put together. And I think that comes down to because you get on the puck, like, okay, that's a bit hard because they got smoked onto, but like dream calling the whole enemy team in place doesn't really help at this point. Like, you maybe need to try and, like, as they were coming in from the left there, even if you dream call and make it hard for the team to all move in and circle the Terrorblade, like Cloudy was that close still to just out DPSing and standing and delivering on the entire enemy team. But instead, you know, Massaway hops back in on the AM, they get the Mana Void out, they bring down the TB, and that TB, you have to keep it alive, it's your only tower push. So Kozi can't just play, it's like hit and run, you know.
It seems like Kozi needed to be there a little bit early. He needed to be able to dictate the fight. They can't let Cloudy just get gone upon, because he is a TB, he has one Sunder, but he needs to be able to use it at the right time, because he needed that against Wygod there. He already choked up a whole bunch of damage, but then Wygod was just waiting in the back to just finish him down after. So this BKB is gonna be invaluable. You don't need to use the Sunder in response to all the magical damage output from FFYV2 anymore. You can wait it out, bait it out, and wait for that prime opportunity just to turn these fights back into your favor. Wygod will be punched. Attack team, nice initiation to control. It's good, but the BKB will be popped. Arena's gonna be popped in between the BKBs, just be mounting down to back. Kozi looking for the opportunity, but he can't silence down to Mars now because they're already done his job. He put the arena down, Teckle's rolling through, but what can he find? Wygod back in the high ground, chance not going to actually try and save him, and that's put the stun onto Teckle. They're draining all the mana away, moving on back, trying to get the safety. Teckle is going to be blown up by the Mana Void as we just chase on down. Massaway gets back to safety, and Cloudy can't do a single thing. He's moving forward, going to get the crown hit coming in, but now the Metamorphosis is popped, and that is cleaning up the Mars. The crown was the bait, the BKB was the prod, and now they're just cleaning up FFYB2. They've got the nice shot around the gun out, no way to cancel it. Kozi can't burst them down with the coil anymore, so they take what kills they can get. It was costly. It was the reveal of the 10-second BKB, and maybe Roche is open, and that's enough of an advantage that Need Uprising got out of it. But still, it seems like these fights are getting very difficult.
Yeah, they're going to run at this pit if they know, and I think they might get. Yeah. You know that, like, Roshan is like the only thing that needs can jump this that's good enough, and so you run straight there. Yeah, I didn't think they were going to get the Rosh.
Sure. Moving back halfway through, maybe they can take this fight. The Metamorphosis is still going, but it's about to be done. So this is probably just going to be a stalemate at this point, unless we just try to slip on back in. Chestnut is just moving back and forth as the hero. That doesn't exactly matter. He's got 3,000 net worth. I don't think they care if he dies. He's just there to bait out everybody. And yeah, it seems like Roche isn't gonna happen here unless they move back in. They are setting up for it again with putting a sentry down.
There's gonna be a Roche fight in the next couple of minutes. It's gonna decide the game. The awkward part is you don't have meta for it now, and this puck hasn't finished the Aghanims yet, which would make the Dream Coil useful again. And even that fight again was just a little bit awkward. There was a haste rune on the Kozi puck. He just hadn't quite made his way up there yet, and then you decided to go the Ember and don't make it.
Crib's going, Roll's coming, Teckle gets it this time. Wygod is actually being stuck in between the Flame Guard as ever. The damage is adding up. Massaway just comes on in to be stunned up again. They're running her back to the supports on the low ground, but the calls are on the high ground, and now they're getting cleaned up. The buyback will be there for Wygod, but he does go down, and it's a triple. They've lost F-18, they've lost Massaway, they've lost big, as Ember buys back to rejoin the fight. Chestnut's going to be teeping out in front of them. They've got Swashbuckler, but no real control to keep him back. And Kess with Bramble Base will keep Kozi back for now from rejoining, but Wygod, what are we doing? We're charging forward, look for something in return to make this buyback worth it, but no, it ain't gonna happen. No one's gonna be found, but his Roche is gonna be taken. Wygod just sees Spag, doesn't want to take Spag, and now they finally get what they wanted, what they came for. Need Uprising are taking Roche, getting the Aegis and the cheese, putting it straight on the Cloudy, and marching up this mid lane.
Two team fights in a row, like going one way and then the other. Brutal punishes first. The lack of chainstone on Wygod leads to Neats, nearly throwing the game away in a really bad fight. And then the failed chain stun on Teckle finally gives him the chance to unleash a good rolling thunder. It just like immediately wins the fight. The bouncing around inside the Mars ulti there on that narrow clifflet just devastated FFYV2, and I'm not sure whose job it was to stun the Pangolier there, but if you don't have a follow-up there as Mars, you just can't go.
I think they were surprised by the Greaves because they got the chains. They're like, okay, he's going to be held up there, Mars can get the initiate, but then he Greaves it off, and it just surprised everybody because he just moved slightly to the right, dodged the spear, and then he was good to go.
Same with the Ember BKB, right? Like you blink in and you Walrus punch because you think, oh, that's my instant stun, my team will follow, and then you get punished heavily by the Ember BKB reveal. So, these items coming out at really key times for both teams, but it's neat to look like they might have got the meta of it. It was looking dicey there, but they finally managed to take high ground and get a Rax, and they still have meta running. Cloudy is threatening to take the game here.
Yeah, he's going to take a second if he can. Bot initiation doesn't have. Currently nothing because they're trying to set up behind it. Wygod is moving in if he can. Chestnut just needs to get on back. His reflection is doing so much damage in, but there's the arena. Moving on forward. Big Heavy instantly caught, and now Marl's going to be dead. But Cloudy is still doing the damage. The meta is still going there. Still got the time. They may have taken this fight too early, but they are melting down a few heroes. But the heroes who are dying are on FFYV2. You've lost Deku, you've lost Bag, but still, it's Wygod cleaning up Fury in the backside. But Cloudy is still doing damage to Metamorphosis. I'm going to last for so many more seconds, but he still has the arena moving on back. He's going to get the Eels at the control on the Wygod. Do we have a stance to keep him in place if we can? There we go. Damage comes out. Double kill for Kozi. And now it's going to be a GG. Instantly called. You have no buyback to defend anymore. And Need Uprising, they take a 2-0 against FFYV2.
That was so harsh. That was an incredible arena terror combo coming out there, but unfortunately the Metamorphosis just lasting. I don't know if they could have delayed a few more seconds. Maybe you would have lost your second Rax. They felt the pressure and they had to go, but fighting into the Metamorphosis TB and not going on, like, it feels weird to say, oh, you arenaed 4 heroes, that was wrong, but you didn't get the Terrorblade, and Cloudy turns around on that high ground and just vomits damage as only Terrorblade can, destroys the entire team in seconds, and a 2-0 to the Neats is not what I expected tonight, but they have earned it.
They definitely have. They've really proved it, even with the standard. Cloudy really hasn't slowed them down at all. It just really just reinforced them. And maybe
No,
they're playing a little bit sloppy in game 2, but they just dismantled FFYV2, getting the crucial 2 points they need, which might be the difference going into these semi-finals here.
Absolutely. That's huge for them. Make no mistake at all. That basically guarantees them finals, right? Them and Oracle now have reestablished themselves at the top of the table. I'm sure if I had to guess, I would say that FFYV2 are almost certainty to join them in the final series. But I mean, that's just it. It's not a certainty anymore now. And by dropping 2 points here, didn't even get one of the 2 games. The pressure is on next week. You do leave yourself open to, having your stock stolen by Toons of all people.
Or maybe Eternal Discord, because this series 1 done for now, but we've got another series coming up. Eternal Discord versus Crossfire. It's looking exciting. It's going to be coming up at 8:30, folks. Don't go anywhere. The action is going to be amazing here at LPL, and we're going to be seeing you after this short break. And we are back after that dynamite performance from Need Uprising. We're going to keep that tempo nice and hot. Bring up another amazing series, Crossfire versus Eternal Discord, to even out these nights. One team, Crossfire, have been playing a little bit, they've been dominant most of the weeks. They've faltered a little bit, but Eternal Discord, they just bring something new every single week.
Yeah, Eternal Discord are probably the hardest team to accurately predict in the competition, but that's part of why we love them. They're always scary. They know what heroes they like. They have no fear in their play, which I think is an underrated advantage. They've definitely taken games off of top teams before, just because their willingness to push hard whenever they see any sort of opening, regardless of what conventional wisdom might say. And even if they haven't been that successful this season, I would not put an upset beyond them this week.
That's right, but speaking of upsets, Crossfire still feeling dominant in this series, bringing a dominant force to the team. It's still Toes, Bouncer, River, Xavier, and Josh still feeling like the ironed out force it is. Xavier did make that position change for the series to fill in Andros in the draft, but now they're here and now they're feeling pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, we had not our doubts, but a curiosity, a natural curiosity. After Xavier was one of our consistently best 4-position players in the LPL Pro League, to have him change to offlane this season was a big ask for this team to adapt to. But he's done it brilliantly, and especially on heroes like Legion Command, you can see that same great instinct for playmaking is still there, but now the team can even commit to it more and really let Xavier lead, whereas before he had to sort of make a lot out of not much by himself on heroes like Potom. It's been really cool to see the transition in their playstyle.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see. As soon as you put farm priority, the man's been able to make plays. But one of the big notes from the series is really just Andros, who's really just fitted in the squad so strong right now. And in fact, we're just going to find out how strong he fits, because we're coming straight into the action. Game 1 is already here.
Yeah, that's true. Andros, of course, has been part of the reason why Crossfire have kind of rallied. They had a rough sort of mid-season, and now they're actually right back in contention. So, if they're able to keep this momentum going, I think they're going to have him to thank for a lot
Radiant
of it.
team pick.
Band's interesting, though. They're taking away Pudge and Techies, but then again, they're playing against
Dire
Eternal
team
Discord.
pick.
Yeah, those are actually totally fine, normal internal Discord bans. Nothing to see here.
Radiant
And
team
actually, surprisingly enough, a nice safe pick from Eternal Discord to start it off. The Vengeful Spirit being picked up first, and in Crossfire, they're going back for Tobe's favourite. His massive hero itself, the Winter Wyvern. It seems like a curse just to play against.
Dire team pick.
Yeah, but I mean, both of these are very strong openers. Wow, Urgamagi Venge, just the most is this internal Discord really? Like, this is the most dull combination of supporters I think we've ever seen them pick. Surely it's
The
like core
ultimate twist here. Maybe that's a little fun. Maybe it's just the bait all out. They're going, oh, we're just going for this serious normal. 2 safe picks here, and then the last 3 are just insane. Just throw your computer out the window, not knowing what Eternal Discord are going to be doing, and then Crossfire really just need to adjust everything around to it. But surprisingly enough, these guys are really coming to play, and same with Crossfire. They're picking up the Queen of Pain, the Winter Wyvern, the 2 comfort picks that they've been picking week after week, that we've been seeing success week after week in LPL.
I never know what internal Discord are going to try and play, to be honest. That's part of their strength and charm, I guess. But certainly Quap Winter Wyvern is not a bad opening to any draft in the current patch either. So both teams just playing really safe picks right now. Picks that would have been okay, a couple of months ago, still fine now. Bans are pretty interesting though. The Spectre ban now added to the ranks alongside the Pudgeon and Techies. This is a very personal kind of draft.
It seems like they are really targeting Crossfire specifically. Grimstroke has just been amazing on Tobes, especially combined with Baosu's Weavers, his Slugs, his Ember Spirit. It just seems a combination that Crossfire really just go back onto. But these bans are even more targeted. They're not allowing Rivery to play the Alchemist, which is another success story for Crossfire. Eternal Discord they're drafting perfectly against Crossfire here. They've done their research. They know where Crossfire want to go, and they're banning accordingly. This is a real positive sign here.
Yeah, I would have said, when I think about those Alchemist games they've played, I would have said, oh, you just banned Baosu's Weaver. But they actually even went a step further. Instead of banning the Weaver to effectively ban the Alchemist, they first banned the Tobes Grimstroke to effectively ban the Weaver to ban the Alchemist. Then they went back and banned the Alchemist anyway, because Hero's quite scary. But, it shows the internal Discord, it's... You would be seriously kidding yourself to say that they don't try to win. Like, they may never have been like in finals of the LPL, like contending for a title, but they show up every week and they try to beat who they're playing against. And the first team to underestimate them each season usually gets a rude surprise. I wouldn't expect it to be Crossfire, mostly because internal Discord have done them dirty before. But certainly they have to figure out what they're going to do with this draft, because we've seen most of Crossfire's tricks banned, right? I guess the Slark's still in the pool, but no Spectre, no Ember, no Alk. Weaver lane hard to set up. They're running out of options.
Yeah, I'm really just putting it down. And it's coming into the pick time, because we're using that reserve time to get on up. Even if we go back to saying what Andros might play the Queen of Pains, they'll be playing it week after week, but Andros can also play the Wind Ranger. The third pickup for Crossfire, but they're very weak and flimsy heroes on the side of Crossfire, something that Eternal Discord can especially exploit, especially considering the stun setup they already have.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, okay, so Crossfire, they're definitely leaving themselves open to some sort of like heavy AoE disable coming out of the lineup. Like, these squishy positioning dependent heroes are going to have to commit at some point to use their spells. And that's where if you have, not that we've seen a ton of Tidehunter lately, but I feel like the hero can be well positioned at the moment, especially if like a Blink Dagger or even something as simple as an Underlord can be quite strong here if you get follow-up disable.
Ursa isn't banned, though, too. A very strong core still in the pool, able to be picked up by either one of these teams.
Yeah, you would want to probably ban the Ursa, if not the Slark as well, before you went for that Underlord pick. We've seen it punished pretty severely, but, maybe you get brave and you just figure you'll counter-pick the Slark or the Ursa if they go for it.
Dire
Oh,
team
we're going to be right about something because third pick is coming. It's Earthshaker, a Miami favorite. So maybe we're looking at a potential Core Venge, or hell, the Core Ogre could be coming out here. A little bit of swaps around, or maybe even the Core Earthshaker has flexibility until Discord.
Yeah, I don't know about the Core Ogre. I think Core Earthshaker might be a better option, and that's probably what we're going to see here.
5 seconds remaining.
Sorry to be boring.
Well, maybe it's a little bit crazy. We can't throw all of Eternal Discord strategies out, but we got a little bit of sparks in somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. You should never presume to know exactly what Internal Discord are thinking, but in this case, I figure we're fairly safe in anticipating the more standard positions. I mean, this is a serious-looking draft. This is not the Techies or the Pudge.
Yeah,
Granted, they weren't allowed to pick the Techies or the Pudge, but
they were banned.
It's still a new leaf for Internal Discord. It's still a more full, ordinary draft. You can see good lanes coming out of this draft. They've got lots of options their last couple of picks. Hard to punish. Maybe this is their time to turn their season around. Left it a bit late, but better late than never.
A little bit late, but speaking of punishing, though, the Baosu Slark, very good at punishing both Earthshaker and Ogre here. So a fantastic pickup from Crossfire and a fantastic comfort pick for Baosu.
5 seconds remaining.
So Baosu Slark, I'm just wondering, we've seen it countered before, largely by like spot AoE stuns, but you'd also go for something like an Ember Spirit that's just going to be like way too. Oh, it's banned. Sorry, actually, but like a similar hero that would be way too difficult to lock down. You'd even go back see like a Ricky. Actually, and like hunt the. I know it sounds weird, but like you end up hunting the Slark. Just that silence can be really tricky for him to deal with because, of course, it's a silence you can't purge off. So if you're Slark and you're relying, well, I've got my Dark Pack and I've got my ultimate, so I'll be fine. And you get the smoke clouded and you can't purge it and you can't press your ultimate button, and then you get fissured and Earthshaker like jumps at you. You die. So that's always an option, but I don't think we're going to go with it. It's a bit out of the meta. Shadowfiend is the pick up with. This is just the safest draft ever. Who replaced Internal Discord with like normal players?
I don't know. I mean, it's still got the action. Like they're going to be fighting eventually, but the plan, the strategy, and implementation is just seeming just very straightforward here. Earthshaker can make rotation. Shadowfiend farms up the jungle, gets his items about 20 minutes, and then runs down your lanes. And I'm liking what I'm seeing here, but still Crossfire, they have some pretty good answers. They can counter Shadowfiend in the lane, even if he doesn't want to play the lane, and Baosu Slark is completely unanswered, and when we know Baosu is unanswered, he kind of just goes off unless you're able to get that Requiem off, but that's still a hard thing to get, considering you still have the Curse, you still have the Shackles, and eventually you're probably just going to get that Orchid of the Crossfire. So, I mean, it's still tight, very tight between these two teams here.
Yeah, certainly no like leaders. These are just teams picking like good heroes. The one thing I would say is that Crossfire, like their team fight looks much harder to execute right now. They're going for that draft that we keep seeing teams shooting for. It's more about their laning phase and trying to create these like really spread out chaotic engagements, if not just smaller skirmishes, and delay the part of the game where teams group up. Versus like Internal Discord, you've got the Ogre Magi, the Earthshaker, and the Vengeful. Like your control is even the Shadowfiend ultimate, like much stronger control in general. Whereas Crossfire, like, okay, you've got Shackle Shot and you've got Wyvern ultimate, but those aren't reliable, and your team doesn't really lend itself to forcing the enemy into a spot where you can hit those spells easily. So are they going to go back for something that's going to make their team fight come together a lot better, or are they just going to completely change up the strategy? And to vindicate me, Ricky last ban. Crossfire, no.
That's right.
They know what's up.
They know.
I am not mad.
And now Eternal Discord need to adjust, though. Well, it's always a safe little ban to get rid of the invisible man, but without a Ricky. Like, what feels that the shoots here, which was fantastic. Cancelling the spells from Winter Wyvern and Wind Ranger would have just been perfect to just keep on getting those pickoffs here, and it seems like Ricky was the ideal hero.
I think you go for like a sniper even. Like if Crossfire want to play this game where or a Clinks is another option. But like Clinks, for the same reason I said against these like very spread out team fights previously. But if you pick a sniper, like you punish them for not having the ability to go past your lineup. They go for the Weaver instead. So much safer laning phase is what I sort of see out of this pick as opposed to the other options they could have gone for. And they're just going to try and run over Crossfire. So Crossfire really need like a safe defensive hero, I think, here more than anything.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, something really to answer all these heroes here. Is anything jumps to mind? Kunkka, DP. Actually, yeah, no, Kunkka's still in the pool. We've still got a couple options, I guess.
Yeah, Kunkka, DP would be very interesting. At least they give him a chance to press forward. They could go for the puck. Yeah, a couple. I mean, there's heroes in the meta, and then there's heroes like out of the meta. I don't think you necessarily want a Magnus, but you certainly got heroes that use the power. And they go for the axe. That's pretty safe. You've got 2 cores that are going to buy BKB, so you go for the BKB piercing sort of initiation. That makes sense to me.
Fair enough, but doesn't make enough sense to take the game for Crossfire. We just like an Eternal Discord's back to basic drafting tactics here.
No, I'm liking Eternal Discord's draft. Actually, I'm excited to see what they do when they have a more fundamentally sound draft. We'll call it. Why not?
Well, hold on for one moment, because while the picks seemed straightforward, they are still throwing the flex around. Miami is playing the position for Weaver. They're putting in a position 1 Vengeful Spirit. Gary Dagoon playing the Earthshake, which means Gondream is playing the Ogre. So they are flexing it to adjust against Crossfire. But that means support Weaver instead of maybe just support Venge.
Okay. So...
Still liking them?
It feels bad to say less, but yeah, no, I'm still liking them. Let's go. That's like the Internal Discord flair, right? Instead of normally they pick like a wacky lineup. This time they pick a safe lineup and they just like shake the rolls up. That's cool. I'll accept it. It just wouldn't be the same if they did normal Dota things.
Oh, yeah, no. You don't play normally against Eternal Discord. They just bring the pain and chase you down at 10 minutes. And I mean, they've got a pretty good lineup to do it as well. Venge, Ogre, Earthshaker, Weaver. Chases you down while Shadow Fiend farms. Pretty straightforward here. But then Crossfire do have some fantastic answers. Like, their team fight improved drastically with the pickup of the Axe. And maybe you don't get the matchup between the Weaver and the Axe, which Axe tends to, bully out the Weaver quite a bit. But you still have to deal against the Vengeful Spirit. And Axe can just typically ignore what the Venge is trying to do, mostly in the laning stage, right?
Yeah, Vengeful against Axe is just a pretty mediocre matchup, although, I don't know, maybe there's a break point where you get enough physical damage and enough minus armor, maybe with like the Weaver bugs, that it makes sense. You could potentially even try-lane the Axe if you want, but I think the biggest deal is like, they don't have to win the lanes on Eternal Discord. I think just going even in the lanes is good enough. So long as you don't let this Axe off the chain. And I mean, especially if you can even commit a little bit extra to shutting down the Axe, he is so important. He's like the whole team. If this Axe doesn't have a great game with a fast blink deck, like how do they ever take fights? Can you imagine like this Quap and this Wind Ranger like trying to move into position to use their spells when you've got enemy Earthshaker, enemy Ogre, enemy Venge running at you, either swapping you out of position or fishing you? Like, the positional advantage and the stun advantage from Internal Discord is going to be so overwhelming, assuming like equal strengths at 15 minutes, that it's all on Xavier's Axe to kind of stop them and discourage them from just going ham like that. But if you're going to entrust the game to one player right now, it's hard to convince me it could be in better hands.
It does tend to make those plays that dictate the game and get the control back. And I guess while we have a little bit of downtime here, we might as well use the opportunity to thank one of our sponsors here at LPL. Conquer, our monitor sponsor, always bringing a great quality hardware. You never miss a kill anymore because your screens are crystal clear. The best quality monitors because you can play every single game on, and it just looks absolutely perfect. And they're sponsoring this season of the LPL and bringing some beautiful games right to my screen right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to all our sponsors who, of course, have made this season possible. They've been with us since the start. They'll be with us till the end and hopefully in the next season as well. For now, though, we see the teams streaming out to the lanes. And, of course, Andros in this Windrunner support, I'll be honest, it's a pick that I've criticized in the past. It's a hero that you need to do extremely, extremely well on in order to convince me that it's better than just picking, like, Lion. Like, it really is just a stunning hero as a support for the longest time in the game. And so it's going to be interesting to see, like, is there some aspect of this Windrunner that they can abuse? Is it that, are they going to have the level 1 Windrunner in the Blightstone? Well, with an Axe Lane, probably not. Is the Shackle Shot really going to punish certain heroes that would otherwise be hard to disable or disable for that long? I mean, that could be it, but I don't know if it's, like, easy to land. Axe needs to have a lot of levels in core before that's a reliable setup. these heroes in lane aren't especially vulnerable with power shot. They're both quite well statted. Ogre, in particular, regenerates very fast. And so then you sort of come back to, well, why Wind Ranger? Because her spells are very expensive. She doesn't have a lot of health. They're very greedy level-wise. And I think if this team takes it to the late game, they have the edge, but I don't know if the Wind Ranger is the reason for that. So Andros proved me wrong.
We'll find out as we actually go straight for these runes, as Baosu is just manning up on Gary the Goon, taking all his stats away from him. I don't think he even cares about the runes. Miami's going to get it, but Baosu's got his eyes on the kill here as he chases down Gary. Gary gets back to safety in the runes, actually going to be secured by Goldrim as well. And I did spoke a little bit in the drafting stage. I thought Miami, as he was playing position 4 every single week, this man is doing a position adjustment again. He's back to the position 3 role, having a core offlane Weaver instead.
Yeah, that makes a bit more sense. Not that I would have been upset. I would have been willing to entertain whatever their plan was, but the core Weaver just makes so much more sense with this draft. And their minus armor is going to be so strong in the game. You've got the presence of the Dark Lord and the Shadow Fiend, often an underrated part of his kit. You've got the Howl of Terror, obviously, and the Weaver bugs. That these towers are going to go down so fast and have huge Roshan potential, and their team fight just looks like it's going to be way stronger. So it is up to Crossfire. They have to win the laning phase here, I think. Otherwise, they are on the back foot severely.
Oh, it's looking a little bit aggressive here as Goldrim tries to beat down everybody, but it turns out if Andros just focuses you as you run at the axe, constantly hitting you, you're gonna lose your HP, and maybe you don't have the call on the spin of the axe, but still, your HP is very vital, and the fact that you have an Ogre trying to zone out an axe, that seems like a bit of a rough matchup. In fact, right now, an Earthshaker trying to zone out a Winter Wyvern and a Slark to help this Weaver out, these supports seem a little bit awkward to their tasks.
And Gary the Goon running up and punching Tobes on the Wyvern right next to a Bowser was breathtaking levels of support courage. I appreciate his goonness. Not punished either, by the way. Actually doing a great job in his company so far. I wonder if Bowser just respects the hell out of
damage on the Bowser.
Thanks for that.
He's such a Weaver.
You gotta be careful, level 2 as well, so some more damage. Bowser's healing up, hitting Tobes, hitting Tobes, hitting Tobes, hitting Tobes. Tobes flies around, and now Bowser's looking for revenge. Still level 1 himself, to be careful as Miami jumps back in to secure a little bit of assets, and the farm with another little stun. He can't pounce it off because the man is still level 1. Nice fissure, but somehow you have a quelling blade, so you can cut the trees back to safety, but the pressure is pretty fantastic. On the side of Eternal Discord so far in this offlane, the Earthshaker is enabling Miami here. And speaking of being enabled, input on this Vengeful Spirit, still getting some good farm, beating Xavier for now. Goldrim is just keeping Andros back, stopping his pulling attempts. So he is actually securing his lanes. Do you think this stays like the same situation as levels actually start adding on up?
I think the top lane gets a lot easier for Crossfire. I feel like this pressure we're seeing from internal Discord against the Slark is more an acknowledgement of how much harder it gets. Yeah, once level 2 is up on these heroes, then it is this lane is so strong.
Bounce. Nice feature. Oh, Bounce so low. He's dead. He dies through a neutral creep. Oh man. But that's 24 seconds without Bowser. That's a plus.
Yeah. I don't know if he was going to die without the neutral creep's help there, but that's very unfortunate. Bowser just steams in and gets stunned on top of the Satyr, which just kills him. I think this top lane, this Shaker's running out of mana now. The cooldowns are longer. Oh, wow. And Goldrim going down on the Ogre. I mean, that's what you identified, right? The Ogre does definitely have an awkward time here against the Axe, especially the Axe +1. It's hard to really leverage your ogreness against this hero. And now there you go, Andros. There's the use of the power shot. Oh, Wind runs to get the courier. Okay.
Doesn't do it. Actually awkward, but now inputs by himself. Okay, Ogre's there, but Ogre stuns himself out. A Wind Ranger, but then Axe is still charging forward and goes, hey, there's an Ogre behind me, maybe I'll just hit you, but then Ogre hits you back. Hits you back pretty hard. Without the Battle Hunger, you're not going to be fighting this fight too much longer, and with the headdress to Mangoes, Goldrim is just looking to fight as much as again. He does have to be careful, can't bite off too much of the chew, but still, Venge is getting the benefit out of this. He's having a good time in the lane, not being pressured too hard, and Miami, currently top net worth, is getting some pretty free farm to the top lane, so this laning situation is kind of working out for Eternal Discord with even a fissure to secure the runes for Ilium. This is some really good laning from Eternal Discord here. They are so succinct.
Absolutely. I mean, their lane style's pretty cool. Obviously, their support's may not be the best, but I think they're playing the lanes very well for the way these matchups work out. And so even though I would say they're probably slightly disadvantaged in both side lanes, you're not really seeing it too much in the farm. The Weaver is seemingly well ahead of the Slark, and the Venge is just about keeping up with the Axe. And the thing about input playing this Venge core is that you don't need to be like top net worth as Venture to do a really solid job for your team. It is more about like how much can Miami farm and how's the mid lane go.
Oh, Miami. He's trying to farm Wimp to Wyvern, but bouncing behind. Who's your attention going to? It's going to bounce to Kim back. Miami is running to Tobes outside the center. Got to be careful. The vision's there. The damage going to add up. They do sacrifice their life. Bouncer does go down, but Miami gets trade. So the gold being returned a little bit to Bouncer there, but still they're keeping the Slark back.
Yeah, interesting there. Baosu gets the kill, and that was almost predictable. There was sort of a moment there where you could have decided to commit to the Wyvern, which is probably a safe kill, or you cross over and go for Baosu, and Baosu was holding stick charges and was able to bait out that kill. But Earthshaker had a salve the whole time, and Weaver was invisible, so there was maybe a way to get that kill without dying, but obviously, you know, in a split second, I think they just didn't anticipate that little bit extra hit points, and that trade probably favors Crossfire a bit. It's like having a rough time in the lane regardless.
Yeah, like it's looking pretty alright. All these lanes for the calls are doing pretty fine. Like, River in the mid lane is having a pretty grand old time, but Shadow Fiend, being Shadow Fiend, literally just goes to jungle and farms it itself. But in the bottom lane, Call and actually Vengeful Spirit, but not calling her to her own death as she walks on back. She's limping a little bit with the battle hunger there, but Xavier still pretty low himself. 9-1 charges thanks to both Ogre and Vengeful Spirit there, but it seems like a pretty even situation overall. You're not looking too bad, and you're talking about the 15-minute mark when these fights are going to happen. So both these teams are still looking pretty strong entering that situation here.
Yeah, I'd argue that if I mentioned that Crossfire have to win the lane so that they have like an advantage to offset the naturally superior draft at that point of internal Discord, then an even laning phase favors Discord. They're pretty happy with what they're getting right.
Yeah. Well, maybe they're going to be losing Gary. Baosu wants it. Baosu can't have it because he misses his pounce completely. Oh man, he's going to run on back. They do have the little swarm to get a little bit of vision on the Bouncy, but he should be able to run as he hits it. But the Fission's going to come in. Actually, the Dark Pact will use a little bit awkwardly as they chase him down, trying to block him out. But River is making a rotation, but it's the Enchant Totem. It controls him a little bit, but Miami goes out anyway to Sonic Wave, cleans up that bug, and now Gary is walking. Gary is running, but can Gary survive it as he tries to juke on out, but he jukes himself. Nice. Throws him in between, but will he be denied? No, he's just walking away, walking in safety. No, River, he does get the double kill as he chips on up in the air. Now Illium with the DD ain't gonna be doing much, but maybe taking Bouncer with the Glen on up. Rivery, my man, gets the triple just in time so they didn't lose Bouncer. Crossfire taking a massive fight, exactly what they needed.
Every player in the competition to just feed a triple kill to at 7 minutes. Reverie probably wasn't the one. And yeah, it's funny, like it doesn't feel like a massive fight because it was so haphazard. It kind of just, internal Discord, I mean, it's hard to criticize them when the kills were like only a hair away from coming together, but when you look at the results, that is pretty grim. Now down by over 1,000 gold, and Reverie is immediately in the driver's seat to have a terrific game, whereas before, you know, you really were liking the laning phase for Discord. Oh, Bouncy maybe?
Probably doesn't want to get too much confidence here. Miami is chasing. They see him, and with Sakuchi puts him in his place. He's going to go down a little bit of greed there. You can't find Miami, who's still super strong on this Weaver. We've said it once. We've said it before. The man likes to snowball. He chases everybody down, and Bouncy is going to be feeling the pain out of it.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying we're anywhere near that point yet, and Crossfire do actually have some pretty good team fighting tools like this axe and even, you know, Windy and such. But if internal Discord can take over the map and seize a definitive advantage, you could see this Slark choked out in a similar way to how we saw the Terrorblade.
Oh, nice shackle though. Andros gets Venge. They're going to call Venge, but with so long, he's going to chip down Battle Hunger. It's a suicide stun, and with the Illusion, who comes down after you die, he's looking to turn a kill and backside, but Xavier is just chasing down the Ogre. He's looking to spin, he's looking to cut, and gets a double for Crossfire, cleaning up this bottom wave. The fearsome level 6 of Axe, you've got to be scared of it, but Baosu, he's looking for his own level 6 as he farms and neutral creeps, jumps into Roche, hoping he doesn't get bashed, but the Swarm is keeping the attention elsewhere, but Miami is still chasing. The pounce is still on cooldown, but it's a hasted up Queen of Pain to save. No, it won't happen as Illium marches down, raises, blows Baosu away. Eternal Discord getting some massive kills themselves, shutting down this Slark, shutting down Baosu. Exactly what you need to do against Crossfire.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like with this Slark, actually, he's not as vulnerable as the Terrorblade is to it, but like if you lose map control, it's very hard for this Slark to catch up. He is reliant on just running from camp to camp, doesn't have a spammable blink or anything. Tobe's now in trouble. Gary the Goon is doing huge work. I just want to shout out. We were...
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
We were talking about Andros before the game, but Gary on his Earthshake is doing tremendous right now.
Oh yeah, this is like textbook Eternal Discord right here. Going from lane to lane before the 10-minute mark, fighting constantly, having rotation from all your cores. Miami's in the bottom lane right now, chasing down Xavier. The fishes are beautiful from Gary, but Xavier is just able to run off. He should survive, but they kick him out just in time for runes, but everyone's responding. Basu, he's joining the party if he wants to come down, but who's going to be playing? It seems like Ogre. No, it's Gary. He's caught himself down with a psych, taking all the stats away, putting him in his place, and now Andros, he's got the focus fire back on Ogre, but he is so tanky. It seems to be nipping off his back, but Xavier pulls him back in to get himself a double. Eternal Discord not even done here. Dust, Curse, Control coming on here. The pounce on Bouncy. I think they may have themselves another leash. No time lapse in between. He's got to run. He's got to go. Can Miami get out of here with the TP? He just survives, but it kills that. Eternal Discord they give right on back to Crossfire. Both teams happy to fight when you want to bring it, and they're bringing Sark. Like, out of all the heroes that you want to see to fight, a level 6 Sark, is that too much pressure? Crossfire don't care. They're going to bring everyone they can.
I actually quite like that. If you bring everyone except the Slark, then you're just saying the enemy team are going to send 3 heroes to kill our Slark while we do whatever it is that we're doing here. Like, he's just a liability to that at that point. So by bringing Bounce to the fight, get some permanent Agi stacks, get some XP, get some good gold, and, you know, the enemy team can't just respond by ganking your lonely carry who's, you know, one out in his jungle and already having a bad game. Instead, they get a little bit of farm on input, and thank goodness Miami does live. That was insane. They managed to get off first the time lapse, and then the Shikuchi without that shackle shot connecting at any point. But, you know, that salvages some hope for Internal Discord from what was otherwise a pretty brutal engagement. And now it's the Axe. Here comes Xavier. He's doing a Seb. He's going to put the whole game on his broad red shoulders.
He's ready to row, ready to rock. All the mid lane looks like it's going to be pressured up itself with so much work coming on in. Ilium, he's been found on out just trying to farm up some items, and this town looks like it's going to be traded. Is it going to go? Maybe they can defend it. I don't even know. They got the glyph already being used on now, and actually with the wind wipe, no, it's going to be a stun, but it's Reverie on a Queen of Pain. He can blink away. Where's the follow through? Okay, a little short blink on the high ground for Reverie to come on back, but the swap onto Tobes pulls him into the team. That's what you want, but the curse brings it back. Sonic Wave is awkward. It was used exactly for the curses, but there's the Echo Slam from Gary. It turns it one way, but Xavier turns it the other. 3 heroes dead. Traded for 1. Put the Ogre down. Crossfire take a massive fight. Miami, you're joining it so late. What can you get? You're hasted up. Look at his bug scuttle. It's trying to find Bouncy. The damage is coming. Oh man, he's just running in between. Did have Dust? Did have anything they can do? Bouncy might even just die for it. Miami wants it. Miami gets it. Miami needs to run away unless he just wants more. He dodged the call. He's going back in. The blade mail popped early. He's just waiting for it to go. The mango popped. He's charging, but what can Tobes do? What can they do? They got a vision of the tower going in. No vision, no dust, no sentry being placed down, but the burn to keep him back. They save their cause. Miami gets a kill, but still Crossfire. My man, I think they win that fight with one fantastic call from Xavier.
That was it. I mean, I think the real reason they won that fight, not that Xavier did not capitalize tremendously well, but I think they win that fight by like having the enemy take it. There's not really a good reason to initiate there, especially like it's one thing to put the Wyvern in the middle of your team when she has her ultimate. Like, sure, if you blow her up, then you can actually take a team fight successfully. But they didn't. It's like so risky, and they failed to quite kill Tobes, and Tobes immediately snaps off a great Winter's Curse on the Shadow Fiend. Okay, they slightly miscoordinated the Sonic Wave, and then it set them up to get Echo Slam. But even with like the most botched follow-up of all that, spell by itself won the team fight for Crossfire.
It certainly did, and right now we're going back to our situations where Shadow Fiend, who's feeling a little bit behind, is going for the Yasha BKB build, so the old-fashioned right-click. And the one thing I was going to be pointing out is after all this pressure in the laning stage onto Baosu, they've killed him so many times, what, 4 times itself, I believe. Still, he's ahead of this Vengeful Spirit, who had a much better situation in the bottom lane there.
I don't know that Input necessarily had a much better situation in the bottom lane. That lane was quite bad as well. Vengeful Spirit as a core, like, she has good stats, so it's good against, like, heavy harassment heroes. But the issue there in that bottom lane is just, like, she's very short-ranged and Ogre is melee. And, like, she has a bit better stats for surviving getting gone on than, say, a Clinks or a Drow, but still not really enough. And Axe's Battle Hunger and Windrunner's like harassment is so powerful, and they so significantly outrange that lane that it was really hard for an Internal Discord to trade well. So that was just like them losing ground the entire laning phase. And, you know, when Vengeful has to run in so close to last hit, you can see how she would have been, you know,
zoned off a lot of those potential creeps and had to move to other lanes to catch up. So the winning side of that for Internal Discord is that you don't necessarily need a huge Vengeful, but you know, you don't get one either. And what really worries me is this Shadow Fiend pick. Like, we know Ilium can play this kind of hero, and we know that Internal Discord, if they've found renewed success, it's kind of like playing around Ilium on these farming mids like Shadow Fiend and Troll. I mean, Reverie is a pretty tough opponent, but we are not seeing that kind of carrying performance coming out of Ilium this game, it seems.
No, it seems like he's very much on his back foot, and it's looking even worse because Xavier, he did all that before without his blink dagger. It's just arrived. So now Crossfire have no reason to slow down at all. The Orchid is almost done on Reverie, so all these items are coming up perfectly timing to really just shut down any advantage Internal Discord might have thought they've got. But it's now a 5k goal lead to Crossfire. The lanes are being pushed into yours, and now you're splitting farm between your cores. Miami, who's having a great game, is sacrificing his farm, and Xavier, he's sacrificing the bench. He thought he would get a couple creeps in the mid, but no, he's just going to get called, taken on down, and being put into the belt of Xavier's axe.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was saying that Internal Discord, their timing would be about now, but that's presuming that your Shadow Fiend is, like, the biggest hero on the map, right? Because you should be able to, if not win mid lane, like you said, you pursue the Shadow Fiend insurance policy of going into the jungle and hitting a bunch of creeps really fast. And with a BKB and then one item, you would have a very, very strong way of initiating, or yours if you want to be more aggressive. Instead, they kind of lost mid lane. The Shadow Fiend hasn't seemed to be able to have the space to accelerate his farm the way you would want to, and the Vengeful Spirit's not feeling strong either right now. The Weaver is strong, but it's a really tough hero to sort of like squeeze all the juice out of at this point in the game, because you just can't burst people. Like, there's a hard cap on how quickly you can output all your damage, and your main advantage is in like hit and run gameplay, but you have to play so carefully around the Wyvern and the Axe to do that.
Yeah, it seems like they do, and right now Crossfire, they're not going to give him any options. They're going to smoke, they're going to charge forward, they're going to use their big abilities, the Blink Dagger and the Winter's Curse to set it up. And there's some big targets in the jungle too, because Shadow Fiend's been caught, he's been called, he's been controlled with the Blade Mail, he's just killing himself. Xavier's on a monster kill streak and just charging forward. Crossfire taking complete control of this game. It is looking kind of scary at this point. Even Andros, he's zoning out the backlines as they just silence up the bench as Reverie Sonic waves him into the ground. Gone again. Even his illusion comes back just to instantly die to Crossfire. Finishes the save. Gary Dagoon can't find himself an opening itself because Crossfire have all the control they need. And now Baosu, he's just farming in the top lane himself to get his gold lead, get his items, and join the fun. I mean, Eternal Discord wanted their power spike at 15 minutes. They don't have their power spike at 15 minutes, but is there anything they can do to get something back at this situation, even if they aren't as strong as they wanted to be?
Yeah, when they buy their BKBs on their cores, like, I'm sorry, that's the boring answer, but it's also like, look at these heroes, right? Like, Weaver and SF are very big BKB buying heroes, and you don't necessarily think of Venge as one, but like Venge Core, totally a good hero to buy a BKB on. They don't need to, but if they get at least those first two BKBs and maybe a third all around the same time, and they can get them sometime in the next, we'll say 10 minutes from now, because it doesn't look like the Weaver is building that as his next item, so that'll be the one after, then they're going to have a strong timing, assuming that they're sort of only about as far behind as they are now. Because once you pop BKB, you're only really worried about the Axe Call and the Wyvern ult, and, you know, especially with the 10 seconds, that should be enough to facilitate a fight.
Oh, fingers crossed right now, because they're just taking that through camp so they can get a little bit of farm themselves. But if you see Crossfire, they're setting up for anybody who tries to defend this mid lane here. You show yourself, you might just show yourself the door as they march on forward to find Gary the Goon here. Andros, he's chasing to look for a shotgun. I think he knows, because Bouncer is literally just walking at you, pouncing right at you, using this diffuser blade, and just dodges your stun instantly as he charges you in the base. Miami arrives, saves Gary the Goon for now, but he'll pop from the silence of the Orchid of Reverie, and now Bouncer's not even done. Shadow Dance, she was a little bit early now, but the stun back can't be purged, and now we're going to be trying to get the raise, but we've got two. We can't finish it off with a third, and Bouncer gets out cleanly, doesn't even feel it, and a DD is going to be feeling on an Ogre as Reverie just jumps on in to put this Ogre down. So a double kill for Crossfire. The towers are looking flimsy. Xavier wasn't even needed for that fight. It's now a 10k gold lead. We're not even in the 20-minute mark yet. This is looking extremely rough for Eternal Discord.
Yeah, things are pretty brutal at the moment. It's like not that the internal Discord boys couldn't farm items that would make them relevant here, but like look at how slowly Miami is building towards this like meta. This is just not what the Weaver hero is built to do, and you know, once you get that manta, like, what does it help you with? Does it stop you dying to Clop combo? Does it stop you dying immediately if you get Axe called? Does it, you know, allow you to beat Slark in a one-on-one fight, especially if Slark has some stolen agi? Like, it doesn't really solve any of your issues, except it means that Clop doesn't cancel you by buying an Orchid. So what that says to me is that just like you needed to be winning earlier or be more ahead.
Well, I mean, they are adjusting. As best they can, they are adjusting to it. Gary Dragoon is going to have his Blink Dagger shortly, so that is a tool they can use. The Manta is coming on Miami, so I guess the Silence isn't going to be as big a deal to Weaver. But, I mean, it's not your ideal Weaver build, especially not your off-lane Weaver build. Would you want to see maybe the Ag Scepter being prioritized here, or are you just not in a situation where you can really risk it?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, at some point you have to take the risks, right? Like, but I don't know. I feel as though internal Discord, they're not on a bad plan right now. I just don't know if it's like likely to be successful. Like, no matter what they do from here.
Okay, alrighty, fair enough. They're gonna try the find Andros, they're swapping Andros, they're stunning Andros, and this is how you kill Andros. You bring all four of them, you beat him down, he's gone. But Referee's gonna come in and silence up Miami, but the Manta is picked up yet. No, it hasn't arrived yet, but Referee's gonna be jumping back in, but he's swapped back in, he's gonna be stunned. Oh, Megason, no! No, Gary. Sonic Wave for safety, he's all good. Stun, Fisher, good. Bouncer running in, running back, we're good. Okay, Crossfire don't lose much for the cooldowns and Andros, but oh man, that Echo Slam was rough, and I think that's the opportunity that Xavier wants to just charge forward. There's no Echo Slam to turn this back. Bouncer charging forward himself, behind himself an Ogre. A pretty big kill if he wants it, but we'll go back and Xavier with the call on the Gary Dragoon. He's spinning down, cuts a little bit off the mark, but the Fish can't save him this time because Toes is just going to be screwed in the back. Moving forward, marching forward with the Winter's Curse. Crossfire looking to put this game in the bag. They cool down the calls, they keep the Ventral back, and it looks like Shadow Fiend is just more food for the Slark. Miami charging forward, Sentry moving place down, going to try and break it, but they can't even do it. They're going to actually get the call on in from Bounce with the Blink Dagger onto the backline, finding Ventral Spirit, and with the Golden Brace, you're not even getting yourself a Queen of Pain. Mega team wipe from Crossfire, cleaning it on up. This game is looking done. It did.
Yeah, I don't know.
It went from 0 to 2 billion.
Gary's somehow stunned his own team. Like, I think they still had another charge on Ventral Swap. You can at least... You can definitely still pull back Reverie's Queen of Pain and just kill her right after she blinked, and then, you know, you're doing okay. But yeah, Gary just standing there in complete AFK-ness, just like, I assume, rethinking his life and choices. Which is sad, because he's played so well this game, apart from that moment.
I know. That one Echo Slam before made up for it. The triple Echo Slam in the mid lane, I'll take that every single day, but it seems like Crossfire, they're going to be taking this mid tower. Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Illium?
Classic internal.
Wait. Did Queen of Pain build a blink?
I mean, I think that's what my eyes just perceived. It's taking my brain some time to catch up. Yes, she did. It's the demon build. Blink Orchid. Wow. Reverie.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Okay, I mean, more mobility, great. It's really not that Reverie's not taking this game seriously at all. She's taking it so seriously that she needs to build one of her secret builds.
I can't say that this has never happened before in the history of Dota, but I can say that it only happens on special occasions. Kind of like TA Agony.
That's special occasions. Yeah, like the occasions where we thank our sponsors, like Vodafone. Our communication partner, always giving great communications. If you want to tell somebody about your fantastic new Queen of Pain build, like maybe you want to build a blink in your pub, you can do it with no calls, dropping the best quality calls ever with Vodafone, who is sponsoring this season of LPL while we watch Crossfire completely dismantle Eternal Discord as they kind of try to smoke to defend it. I don't know what you're going to find here. Maybe it's on a Reverie. It misses. Okay, they're going to get the net. He had the illusion of, he's moving back in, the blink pays off! He blinks out, comes back in, gonna be swapped back in, Reverie blinks out again! Oh my man! This build is meta-worthy! Right now he's back to safety again, get Gary Dragoon, put him down, run him forward, gonna get some daggers, charge it forward, they haven't even used Winter's Curse yet. I'm liking his build. In fact, Bouncer's liking it too. He's got his own Blink Dagger, and he's just chasing people down to the backline. Ceiling's going to be trying to get himself off the Requiem, but it is just wrecking their team. And actually, Bouncer's stuck on high ground. Oh man, Bouncer, you're not meant to be there, but right now he's surviving there while Shadow Fiend tries to kill you as he kills himself. moving forward, bouncing so low, doesn't even care, doesn't even die, and 4 are dead with 3 buying back to actually make another team wipe. Miami just gets hit by the power shot, and GG is absolutely cool, and Crossfire take game 1.
Oh, Eternal Discord, you pack of rogues. Whoa,
Gary, thank you. Woo! Bringing it back.
All right, that was something else.
Okay.
In terms of, they look good. They look good for the laning phase. Like their draft was strong, solid laning phase. The safe lane, I think they either needed to swap the safe lane and the off lane, or they needed to pivot the ogre. I think you could have paired the ogre with the weaver, and maybe it would have lined up the lanes a little bit better. Just something else to help out that bottom lane, even if it means rotating a tri-lane down after Miami got his good start, right? Like, if you teleport in the Earthshaker once and kill that bottom lane, it might reset the balance of power, but instead, they give up too much in the side lanes. And Xavier, we mentioned that his axe was key. Look, top net worth axe for the whole game. That is a dominant performance, and they just keep handing the keys to the car to this man, and he'll get you to your destination.
He never drives off a cliff. He just keeps on going up. And man, game 2 is coming up. Eternal Discord have to go back up against this insane squad. I do not know what they're going to be doing about it, but we're going to be finding out after this short break. And we are back. Eternal Discord, they're going to be feeling sore after that one because Crossfire, they just took it to him, they just beat him, and I think that they're just in the gutter really thinking about what the hell happened in game 1 there.
Yeah, Internal Discord brutalized, and unfortunately, they've not just got their own hopes to play for, but Toons Reborn somewhere equally upset that, they need these 7-win teams to drop some games in Internal Discord. Looked like they were up to the task there for a minute. They got everyone excited, but things fell apart in the mid game. It's easy to blame the Earthshaker, Gary the Goon, but he played quite well in the laning phase, and I think it's a lot more down to the mid lane. Ilium Shadowfiend was just like MIA that game, got no items, no farm, and I think it's just like another skull taken by Reverie, who is just the scariest player individually in the tournament, perhaps, and has won like half of Crossfire's games like by himself. It's like him and Zemistry, right? Have I think like dominated more games out of the mid lane than probably anyone else. And if you give Reverie a favorable matchup like that, or a hero he's comfortable on, he will tear the game to pieces.
Speed accountable. Pudge picked up by Crossfire right away. They're bringing it this series.
Yeah. I mean, Andros. Normally with some teams, like weirdly, and I'm sorry to Eternal Discord, if Eternal Discord picked the Pudge, I would be like discounting their chances immediately, but Andros is a mean Pudge player, and for several seasons we've occasionally seen him show up as like either a player on this team or as a stand-in sometimes for other teams even, and pick the Pudge and just bully lanes and bully games. The first pick is very bold, but it makes me feel like Crossfire have a pocket strat of some kind, and I think maybe now, because they're now 8 wins, right, where they're above FFYV2, who failed to pick up a game tonight. Maybe they feel this is like a window where they're a bit safer in their finals placement, and they're going to trial sick new strat.
Maybe it is the Pudge meta and we don't even know it yet, but Eternal Discord, they're going back for a little bit of safety here. They've got themselves a Bane and a Queen of Pain. A very solid opening from Eternal Discord.
Radiant team.
Yeah, Eternal Discord, whatever pact they made, Dark Pact this week to just like, we're only going to pick normal picks, you guys. Like, they're still holding true even after their defeat in game 1. They did not let that discourage them and go straight back to picking Pudge techies. Techies has even been in the pool this time. They didn't grab it up. But, I'm glad. I want to see Internal Discord kind of prove themselves. And I feel like, not that they play heroes like techies badly, but whenever they pick these sorts of meme lineups, like it's never worked out for them that well. So, if they're turning over a new leaf and just picking some like solid lanes, I want to see a Toons Reborn type story where they really flip their fortunes around. And this game could be the start of that. They could split their series 1-1.
Potentially, yeah. The band said that look at all himself. Widget Man, Alchemist, Husker, Reverie's hero. So they're still playing this draft pretty well. They're targeting Crossfire specific heroes, but with a Pudge Oracle setup, supposedly support combo, maybe it's the mid Pudge coming out from Crossfire here. We can't throw really anything past them, considering that they're going to pick up Pudge here, but what hero enables it? Because what we do know about Pudges typically is their laning stage kind of sucks.
Okay, so I'm assuming this is a core pudge. I think core pudge and support pudge are both viable, but considering we're seeing the Oracle, I think this is just their off lane. Because what you want, if you have a core pudge, you want a support that can punish people for trying to all in the pudge. Because Pudge, like, obviously he trades very well with the rot and he's good at, like, harassing people down, but he's going to damage himself and he can only deal, like, so much damage output. He doesn't have burst. So he's vulnerable to getting bursted. With the Oracle there, you can make him immune to his own rot damage with the Oracle's W, even very early in the game before that spell's normally useful. And, of course, Oracle's burst damage is a great way to finish people off who have been trading with the Pudge in rot. And you can even use Fortune's End to set up Hook. So pretty strong combo there. Obviously, later in the game, there's additional synergies around the False Promise. Oracle's just been a really strong hero whenever we've seen it picked in this league. So, you know, what this lane does is really bully out melee carries. So I'd be interested to see whether Internal Discord might even try and maneuver this Quap into a safe lane role and just put their, you know, whatever melee hero they want somewhere else.
Fair enough here. They've got all the time to pick up, but Crossfire, they do go back to a safe and secure Phantom Lance here. Pretty good against the Queen of Pain. You can actually burst that stuff off. Pretty good against the Bane. You can pop off the Nightmare, but Pangolier is pretty good against the PL and the Pudge.
Yeah, that's I mean, Pangolier is, like, again, such a weird hero. It feels pretty good against most things most of the time, and then the laning phase can just go bad in an instant. We saw it struggle a little bit earlier in the night. Granted, that was down to some sort of communication issues. So, you know, no real bearing on the heroes functioning here, but I will say that PL can be harder to deal with than you might think, as the Pango, like, really can zone you out of lane very hard just because PL has quite strong early game. And then later on, like, it's a very mobile hero who can doppel walk around and avoid getting hit by your roll. You know, it's, even though you have decent clear, you probably can't keep up with the health scaling on the PL illusions to, like, keep bursting them in a single swashbuckle, especially if you're not, you know, mid Pango. So it's going to be interesting to see what Internal Discord do with this hero, whether they even do something very committed like the Blink Yules build to just sit on one target like the PL and chain disable it.
Well, it's been a little bit strange here. I was assuming Pudge and Oracle were supportive, but you pointed out the potential for a core Pudge, and with the Snapfire pickup, that is looking a little more likely.
It's like this is just a watching Crossfire play thing. Like, I don't think they would be picking this Pudge unless Androx called for it, and they won the game 1 and they're feeling good, and so they're going to give him his pet hero. So, I mean, but they'll prove me wrong, and they'll put you know, Xavier on it instead, and Andros can, like, suck eggs. But I do think it's going to be a core Pudge either way.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't know. They could play core Snapfire. I just don't see the reasoning behind it. Ember Spirit is a great answer, though. Like, so Snapfire, the way to punish Snapfire is with mobile cores. Right now, they're looking at Ember Spirit, Pangolier, and Quap. Going to be pretty difficult to find a place to hide and channel Mortimer's Kisses this game.
It is. You can isolate down and, you know, just chase him down. Pangolier chases, Bane stops it, Queen of Pain can blink onto. There's a whole bunch of mobility coming out from Eternal Discord, which is fantastic to see because heroes that need to, you know, hook and hold people down ain't going to have a good time. Oracle, he's kind of set up by himself in the back line, so if you can blink a Remnant back there, maybe you just blow him up before he can do a single thing. And so it seems like Crossfire have some pretty good situations.
Yeah, Crossfire, I think they're still, I mean, shockingly, because they've got one more hero left to pick, they're still missing something from their lineup. I think they need, like, a stronger frontlining hero. The PL can frontline, so maybe they need, like, a counter initiator. You know, Earthshaker is still in the pool. As I check the bans very carefully, I actually think they could grab it here. Obviously, the classic PL counter pick to deny, but even more so, just the ability to, like,
5 seconds
set up hooks for your Pudge and to counter initiate when your Pudge or your PL gets jumped on is what their team seems to really need right now.
And right now they're banding around it, so we've got the Bat Rider gone, so it's not like I can just jump around here. The final ban from Crossfire will arrive here, but what are we actually live still? Is the final ban against Eternal Discord, so they're assuming Ember Spirit in the mid, and Leshrac is their final pick, which seems to be one fantastic answer against the PL. They have got so much illusion and wave clear, it's insane.
That's pretty cool. So is this support Lesh, or is it going to be core Lesh and, like, a support Pangolier?
10 seconds.
Or
I think it's going to be... Ooh, okay, man. I think you have flexibility, and this final pick will probably decide which way you're going.
I think support Leshrac is the best I think Core Lesh is really vulnerable. I don't like support Pango. If it's not support Lesh, I hope it's support Quap. I don't like support Pangolier like one bit, and I've explained why before. But I think support Quap could go to the safe lane and just like hound PL. And the reason to go Core Lesh is just because like if you actually do want to counter PL with this Leshrac AoE, like that's a lot to ask of a support Leshrac. Support Leshrac is basically a stun and a tower pushing spell. He dies too fast to really be of any use. Whereas if you're playing core Leshrac, you got that BKB, you got the, hopefully you're scaling ahead of the enemy core, so you have survivability items. Like that is one way to definitely wear down heroes like PL and Pudge.
That's true. And right now they're going to figure out a way to stop this. I've got the final pick. 40 seconds here. If it's called Pudge, if it's called PL, the mid lane does need to situate. What do you want to do to shut down this Leshrac here? Is there anything you want to prioritize? Maybe the burst damage to keep him from hitting your towers at all, or using any magical burst here?
You could pick something like a Death Prophet. Their lineup actually seems quite greedy now from Eternal Discord. You could just like pick an anchor for your team that's going to be in the front line. Okay, so it's not a front liner, but it is a similar like map pressure hero in the Drow Ranger.
It's a mid lane Drow Ranger though. It's a very greedy Drow Ranger, it seems now.
You reckon?
Yeah.
In which in which way? In terms of like laning phase, or in terms of like overall farm on the map?
Well, I guess both situation, because you really need Andros to make some space here, because you have two cores that want to farm up the items while you've got a Lesh who's going to be hitting your towers pretty fast this game. The tempo is extremely fast on Eternal Discord, and having two cores really not wanting to fight if they don't have to, that's going to cost Crossfire quite a bit.
The thing about Internal Discord having fast tempo is that actually their lanes are quite static. All these heroes need to be level 6 and presumably if anything a couple of levels higher before they move, right? They've got support Quap, they've got support Bane, those heroes need their ultimates, Pangolier, Ember Spirit, Leshrac all definitely want like an item at least, and like level 8 or 9 presumably before they move. It's like this Internal Discord draft, that draft's greedy in terms of how it lanes and in terms of how it farms the map. This Crossfire draft, they've got, very unassuming support heroes. They've got this Pudge character who, it can definitely make space. So I think they saw that the laning phase is probably going to stretch a while, and their choice was, do we try and punch through that and force a faster, shift from the lanes, or do we take advantage by picking heroes who are going to get, enjoy that passive laning phase and then do something with it that beats up on Internal Discord? And I think what's going to happen is they're going to just take that laning phase for what it is, get farm on this Drow and this PL, and then they're just going to push like madmen. And while there is creep clear on the side of Internal Discord, I feel as though their team fights could be very awkward. There's a lot of fragile heroes there before they have BKB.
Yeah, you make some good points. It does seem to be like maybe it's not the best answer for Eternal Discord, and they found the opportunity on Crossfire okay, we can just drow it. We can drow it. The silence is going to be great to just hold these people down. Pangolier, who can't roll away or escape if he's silenced, and he's going to be dead, and maybe the laning situation. Because we know Rivery is a fantastic mid lane player. Even with the Drow Ranger, she's very good at pressuring with those ice arrows in, so it still makes for that perfect aggressive mid hero that really just fits Rivery's playstyle.
Yeah, I was not shocked to see it picked up as a mid laner either. If you've seen the hero played in the role, you quickly learn to respect that it is capable of a lot. This isn't like what we even, you could argue saw earlier in the night from FFYV2, where it kind of feels like a bit of an awkward shift in the draft, and now we're going to pivot this hero into this role we didn't really want it in. This was their plan all along, I'm sure.
All right, that's good to see, having a little tight strategy for your squad. I mean, it does seem like Snapfire is one hell of a hero to pick up with the Pudge. I mean, Pudge is going to hold somebody in place. You've got the Kisses to rain down on it, great combination. You've got some good old saves from Tobes, who can keep people alive for so long. And if, you get on top of the Drow Ranger, Tobes is going to keep that Drow Ranger alive. And Baosu is still really hard to catch. I mean, you got Wave Clear, but Baosu is going to farm up those items. It maybe just picks up a random hood to deal with all the magic damage.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think a lot depends on where Internal Discord take fights, and I honestly expect and would like to see them play this game like cowards, basically, which is not the Internal Discord. But they only want to fight when they have all their spells up, when their whole team is available, and when they're in this nice enclosed area or have some sort of vision advantage that they can
they can get a good Fiend's Grip off. They can get a good Rolling Thunder off. Like, these spells are quite situational. If you don't have that, I find it so difficult to see how they get past this Pudge and like a wall of PLs to actually deal with Reverie's Drow, like a mid-Drow who's going to be probably the strongest hero on the map with the kind of damage that can just instantly kill an internal Discord hero who comes at her alone. So like, you somehow need to smuggle your whole team past this quite strong screening set of heroes from Crossfire and take Reverie out. And maybe it's easier to just split the map and farm and hope it takes a while to push.
Well, I guess we'll find out as we do, because Baosu is just hanging in the river. He's like saying, hey, input sees him. He's moving mid, looking for vision, crossing out through the river. This ain't your side of the river. He's just going to put himself down in the mid lane, pick it up, walk on back, and the runes. All right, he doesn't even want to contest it. He's just playing around looking for attention, and the swap might be coming into play. Miami's looking to go to Baosu. Baosu's looking to go to Miami, but Andros is looking to go for your own with a nice little hook. Picks it up, doesn't cost him a single bit of mana. Gets both of them for his own troubles. And it seems like Miami's attention was drawn away from the Rose situation, and Eternal Discord get neither.
Yep, just the little Pudge things already getting the advantage. And like we said, Andros is very strong on this Pudge. So they did give Andros the Pudge. It's not going to be a core Pudge, which is where I've seen him actually really shine with the hero. But support Pudge, perfectly viable. So, and Andros, like, you wouldn't want it in anyone else's hands. He's a real maestro of the Butcher. So looking forward to seeing what he can do with it here today. Meanwhile, Baosu is soloing.
Yeah, it seems for now, yeah. They're TPing in. Okay, Topes is coming, but might be a little bit too late. The sun coming in, damage adding on up, but Baosu is running, juking, driving around, but he went Spirit Lance first, but he doesn't have any escape of the self. He should be all good unless Goldream takes it out. Okay, that's costly, but Goldream might be costing him for it. He survives, he's all good with the brain stuff, he gets some more HP, and Baosu has a pretty hard start to this landing stage. Okay, Topes has a self just for him because he knows exactly how Baosu likes to play, so you're always got to bring an extra when you're laning with Baosu.
I'm glad you also understand that, because I looked at that and I was just quietly thinking to myself, like, this is the most Baosu thing I've ever seen. Like, he runs into that spot between the trees and I'm like, oh, he's baiting them. I'm waiting for the doppel walk. And then I realized his skilled spear, he just loses 80% of his health for free. And then he pops the salve, and like with 1 second having run on the salve and full vision of Goddream, just barrels out and starts meleeing him. Like, wow. Baosu.
It's what you do. But top lane here, though, it's what you're doing to Gary. Look at this control with the cookie coming out. They want this kill, and Andros is going to say he spoke big of this Pudge, and he's proven it with the swashbuckle already used. Andros is so low, but he's already got himself a stack. This Snapfire Pudge combination, it's pretty strong. You put the cookie on the big man, and he crushes you.
They're actually doing core Snapfire. Okay, all right. Hey, look, I believe in the Xavier. I believe in this Pudge Snapfire combo, even if the farm isn't going to the person I thought it would be.
Well, hold on 1 minute. If you look at Xavier's build, it's straight Ags Blink Dagger.
I don't know about the Blink Dagger. Like, why after the Ags?
Yes, would have said no Blink Dagger on Queen of Pain, but that really paid off last game.
Different reasons. I mean, look, I'm not against the idea of like core Snapfire. I thought you'd go like Ags Hex or Ags or something, but we'll see how it is.
Oh, input? The creeps? He's gone too. I'd say Bane's gonna get sacrificed, but you don't want to lose the Lash.
Yeah, it took me a little bit to react to that because it was such a weird fight. When someone is so passively just dying like that, you sort of assume that this is a calculated trade and they have some way out, but Internal Discord actually just like lose 2 there, seemingly for nothing. Dire miscalculation of the situation there.
Yeah, it cost a little advantage, and whatever advantage you got on Bounce, so you gave it right back with a double kill to him. And his laning situation is seeming pretty good. Maybe Andros can't press you up too much, but he's pulling the creep way back, forcing you to go early. And it seems like this bottom lane isn't going too amazingly for Eternal Discord here. Are we going to go back to Eternal Discord style, though, and just have this laning situation be what it is, and then when it hits that 10-minute mark, we're just going to all line up together and take some fights?
I think 100%. I think Internal Discord, their reaction to like losing ground in the match is to double down.
Cookie. He moves in to get it. Andros is moving for it. He wants his hook. He needs to aim it. Gary is trying to block it, but then he just takes his own life. Okay, blink away. Does he juke it? He's trying to aim it. No, Andros ain't gonna throw it, but Gary moves on back into death stance. He's got the shotgun. He's got the damage in with the dagger. He ain't gonna feel it. He feeds another kill to the big man. Give the high five. Oh no, he's gonna give him a cookie. Crossfire coming to play.
Andros, the Pudge Master winning with the sort of the threat of the sheath sword. If you don't throw the hook, it always constrains what they can do, because they have to avoid giving you a free hook setup. And so, as long as you can walk fast and keep the rod on them, you're going to get the kill eventually without gambling the way committing to a hook would. Baosu,
Okay, that works out. Awkward situation, but they got the damage. Baosu plays a little bit aggressively. The Nightmare was a little bit awkward, but they had the damage to put him down. So Baosu out of this lane. It's on Discord getting a freebie.
Yeah, so Oracle, right? I'm a huge Oracle fan, but for those who don't watch or play the hero a lot, it's got, some really specific restrictions on what it can do in the early game, in that it does nothing until level 3, and then it can't do anything defensive if you skill it the typical way, which Tobes did, until level 4. So you don't expect, like with your ult, as actually Bausu's committing, he's not scared at all, despite his 2 deaths, going in on that bottom lane, and...
Trying to chase him down. Oh, stun on back, turning back. Actually, got to be careful. Oh man, you didn't bring too much HP down to him, but I do like a little bit of dodge and magic damage, but you got to remember, Edict is physical, so you're still going to be scared of that. That's damage that's enough. The Bausu, the stun does miss again. A little bit awkward. Bausu is pretending to be the illusion, but then he baits it out and goes straight for Bane. Toad's going to be a little bit careful himself, but as Bane has no HP unless he nightmares up the Oracle. Now he needs to run back the other way. The stun is dodged again by Bausu. Gold Dream is running, but Toads comes out of the Nightmare to put him down. And now input, he's looking for the Oracle. He gets himself the Oracle, but now he needs to run back. If he can, very low HP, very low mana, still being chased down by Bausu, but both cores have absolutely nothing left to throw at each other. So it's gonna be a stalemate. But at the same time, Miami in the top lane gets fed again to the power of Xavier and Andros.
That's a big win for Crossfire. I'm not sure how big an impact this farmed Snapfire is going to have, but shutting down the lane is pretty swell. This Pangolier is a great hero to try and slow down. To help him.
Oh man, what a save. The Fate Edict is good. It dodges the magic damage of the Brain Sap, so Bausu takes literally nothing, survives the entire time, and he gets full HP regen from the Purifying Flame. Reverie, with the surprise, he's level 6. I thought this Drow wouldn't be ganking, but he's ganking everyone. He walks into some, but then Ilium is going to be turning it back. He's chasing forward. Nice save from the Oracle, but now Tobes is left by himself. He can't dodge the magical, but now we're going to get physical with a Nightmare. It's awkward again. It dodged a little bit of damage, but you can't dodge that stun, and he's going to try and doppelgang away, but with the one charge, maybe he survives. Chasing forward under the tower. Gonna get him. Killing spree for this Lesh. An Eternal Discord kill Bausu again.
Yeah, Reverie sprinted into the Lesh stun, they're unable to duke it even with the haste rune running, so that's unfortunate and turns out to be very costly, as Andros may have bit off more than he can chew this time, but the cookie can't
the
deny
hook.
himself with
Okay,
anymore,
he's just feeding the kill to Xavier. Oh, he knew what was up there. He was just sacrificed to get into a score. The good old support punch plays.
Yeah, I mean that's that. What more can a support do for his core than to lay down his life for a freebie kill? So despite those setbacks, Crossfire do seem to be getting more out of this laning phase. I think it's just this bottom lane is a bit of a disaster, but as long as top lane is going as well as it is, you're going to be all right. This PL hero can kind of just soak up farm in the mid game and recover a bit.
Oh, mid lane though. Gary Goon, rotation onto this Drow. You can't chance because you already used it, and he just TPs out right in front of you. Back to safety. Nothing for your troubles if you're Eternal Discord.
Middle tower is under
Yeah, great instincts too in the middle of getting ganked like that. Just go, oh yeah, that's their one stun, and hit the TV button. Like, okay, everyone.
Oh, the hook.
Oh, hang on.
The hold. The Fortune's End. Is it the end of Lesh? Yes, it is. Another stack for Andros. Makes their surprise rotation bottom and gets a fantastic kill on the Lesh there.
Yeah, if he keeps doing this, this is like, that's your job. If you pick Pudge, you're signing up. You say, I'm going to hit all these hooks, and that was one of the easy ones, but you got to hit those as well, and they get a free kill. This is what I was worried about with the core Leshrac, Leshrac the hero in general, right? It's just so fragile. And especially in terms of like heroes that can pull him out of position like that, because you're always going to be running forward in a predictable way.
Pangolier doesn't seem to be snapping off too much. He's got level 6, so the man can make rotation just in case you want to pressure it up, but they really are isolating all their resources on keeping this Lesh down. Ember is having a pretty good time in this mid lane here, because I don't think Reverie really cares, but maybe they can find something in the back. Toes actually been trying to hold down Gary Dagoon as he blinks on in and just instantly dies to Andros again, so more kills for the Pudge. God Dream is setting on up, and it looks like Ilium's going to come in, but it's still a pretty tanky Pudge if you're going to be chasing him down, but the damage, it's going. They're chasing him down. The magic is adding on up, but it doesn't seem to be enough to kill him.
Yeah, trouble for Crossfire for sure, as they seem to get initiated on in a really poor spot there. Bowser already limping away on the PL as the Ember comes in is never a good sign. And
No.
Assuming this fight goes badly for them, it's okay. There's the aftermath of the fight. 3 heroes dead.
Pretty bad.
Nothing. 4 dead. Reverie just dies to Ilium. So Ilium, who was like unfortunately kind of absent in game 1, finally coming alive in game 2 and being the player we know he can be. And suddenly I was saying the lane phase was going well for Crossfire. We're starting to see the impact. They lost the bottom lane, so that's a couple of heroes that are in trouble. Bowser being now run down.
Oh, no. The Lesh is feeding off him. Yeah, the tips are coming top lane. It's good for go, but this is exactly what Eternal Discord need. These skills, okay, Xavier's just raining fire on Miami. He has to swashbuckle closer if he wants to survive. He can't juke everything, and he is gone. And Andros, the big man, he's gone down again, so the kills are coming. They're getting it, they're trading it, but this is still pretty good. And this is Eternal Discord in a nutshell. They run at you at the 10-minute mark. What time is it? 10 minutes, and they're chasing everyone down under these hours. Does Turbs pop? No, he does not. But the silence on the Gary should find himself a return kill. No, Gary just survives on the high ground. Bane's got Fiend's Grip. He's finally hit the 6, but the Cookie crushes his hopes of getting the kill on Reverie. With the Brain Sap, he will finally get Lash with a little bit of mana left. Is doing a little bit of magic damage, but the hook pulls an illusion back, but Lash should be dead to Bowser. Tobes just secures it because he might have just got away. And Ember? Do they know?
No.
See you later.
This is definitely some internal Discord stuff. You're completely right. The classic 10-minute overcommit as well. They did get the Drow, so it wasn't like a total disaster, but they were really missing their Pangolier there. And part of me wonders whether Pangolier could have survived by just sprinting straight at Xavier as soon as the kisses came out. But
What?
Again
man,
now.
Andros. He gets it, Sonic Wave. Gary comes in, but I think you just go in to die. Unless you bring Lash. Lash is a good turnaround. Okay, cool. You're feeding off the punch. Fantastic. Manganese Eternal Discord rotations. Justy Wood. Ember Spirit's arriving too. The party's coming as far as Xavier. He jumps in for his own death. Takes a kill with him again, but no. 2 more deaths, 4 Crossfire, some more kills on Eternal Discord, but they are still sacrificing Miami on this Pangolier.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling the 5.3k net worth on the Snapfire, I'll be honest. But this Pangolier is having 0 impact, it must be said. And again, you ran into that spot where you can get perfectly hooked, but I have to assume the swashbuckle was on cooldown, right?
Hook.
Oh no,
Finds it,
Andros.
gets it. Getting Lash and Andros back on the board. You killed him a couple times, and then he'll kill you even more. But this man gets stronger every single time he does it.
Dire's top
Yeah,
tower
and
is
he's
under
hitting these
attack.
impressive hooks. I mean, it's not that the hooks themselves are like impossibly skillful. It's just like finding them with such consistency as a support.
Miami, this is a dream venture. He's rolling, Bowser's spinning. All right, doing the drive. No one's hitting anybody, and now he's got to run himself. They put some reinforcements in. Do they commit for it? No, they can't find Bowser. He went a little bit further down. He's hiding in trees. Going back to safety. Okay, the Rabbit's coming in. GTH, they've got him. All right, Bowser playing a little bit greedy there. Miami thought he couldn't do it, but he gets the kill and bites back instantly. He's buying back. He's coming back. Oh, God. What is going on?
Radiant's bottom tower is
I
under
admit, fellas, I doubted. I shouldn't have. Their persistence was rewarded, and that's a big kill. Make no mistake. Like only the wow, the 4th biggest farm hero on his team. Never mind, but like still killing the PL never a bad idea. I just wonder like when do Internal Discord go now? Like their draft is so greedy looking. I can't. I look at this Slash Ember core and I'm like, is this really their timing? But later on, it doesn't seem to necessarily get better.
Yeah. No. You've got a very specific timing and tone. Discord. I'm looking to use it even if it doesn't feel too right. And I think Bowser's buyback, as well as his death, is going to slow his farm down. He's below Andros at that point. It's kind of like a free give you a 10-minute card that Eternal Discord they're happy to cash on in because they need those minutes on the map to get these items back on their cores. And they are still playing aggressive. I mean, they're playing Eternal Discord. They've got a smoke between a Bane and a Queen of Pain with Fiend's Grip. It's a pretty free kill to anybody who shows up mid, but it depends who shows up here first. I think Ilium's going to get the vision up here at least.
If they go
There's a
on
little
with
bit
the
of
Oracle sitting in the
too.
back, it just doesn't work. So they need. This is like Tobes becomes such a key target for them. If they can't see him with deep wards, it becomes so hard to actually use their hero as a god dream. Has a very difficult time this game. between that punch.
And right now, Crossfire, they've got a 4-man smoke on arm. Bounsu is not included in the smoke. It's punishment for him, but Goddream walked on uphill, and the punishment is his death, and Andros' hook again. Okay, they found the Lesh who tried to take tower, but it's going to be denied, and with the kisses raining on down from Xavier, it's melted into a barn. You've even got the urn him on in. You'll have to keep Andros back, but his hook is on cooldown for a couple of seconds. Can he land it? Can he read it? Ember Spirit's still in the middle of this fight. Look at Gary Dragoon is trying to initiate someone on the backlines, but they can't get the point of access. So no one's getting hit by a single thing. Even Ember's dodging the cookie himself. So yeah, I guess you just lost a Bane there, but it could have been much worse. At least Lesh survived that fight there, and the tower may have got denied, but still, that's a tower taken off the map. That's map control you can't TP to.
You're correct. I mean, look, when you look at the gold lead, it's less than 3k to Crossfire 15 minutes of the game nearly. Like, we've had far more one-sided games than this. A lot of their gold is on this Snapfire hero who's going Yule's Ags, which, like, Snapfire is fine, and I've even played a couple of games with Snapfire core that felt pretty successful, but you must say it doesn't quite use the gold the same way that a Phantom Lancer would if their gold totals were reversed. Is there a...
But the roll's good. Miami finds it. They're going to get Andros. He's being taken out by the Ember Spirit. He's running back himself, but he also have to on to Oracle. He's going to keep any saves from coming, but he's moving towards his Oracle, but no punch will not be saved because both of them are dead. No false promise, no saves for the support, and Eternal Discord going to march up this mid lane with the Leshrac, who's fantastic at taking towers. Put him in front of them. They're just gonna melt.
Yeah, I think they can even take the tier 2, and then they were thinking about Roshan. They might even go Roshan after this, because they have, of course, the Pangolier. So just as Leshrac is incredible for taking towers with Diabolic Edict, the constant disarm from Lucky Shot on the Roshan makes it much easier for a team like this to do than they normally would. Have a chance against the neutral creep.
I think they want to fight. And with the silence and the hook, they've got the combination they need, and yeah, Ember's gone way too greedy. Rivery just moves on up, gets that instant kill, and Ember's out of here. The advantage they got was a little bit lost, and Andros gets 11 stacks at the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, that's that killer instinct I always talk about having FFY V2 having. It's like the ability to act like instantly. If you hesitate there for a moment, the Ember probably gets away, but it takes Ilium like 1 second to decide that he wants to dash out of this situation. He's trying to milk it, and he just dies immediately.
Speaking of time, Bowser going 57 seconds. He's still got that dieback death timer, so he's gone for 60, which is pretty great if you're looking for some openings here from Eternal Discord, but still, we're marching up the mid lane, getting a little bit of revenge tower damage if we are Crossfire, and it's looking still pretty scary. Okay, Nightmare on the Andros, but we're charging forward for the Bane. Lash is joining, going for the backlines, got to be able to find the backlines, but now he finds 3. Silence up, Yule's up, finding for Andros, but Andros is so tanky, he doesn't even care. He takes literally no magic damage because Oracle's waiting in the back and just dismembers the Slash away. There is a buyback if you want it. Ember is going straight for Tomes, but can he even kill Tomes? I guess there's no false promise saved for you since you wasted it on the Pudge, but Pudge is fine, Oracle's fine, Brewery comes in to save and just punches Ilium anyway. Hook will miss, Remnant back to the high ground, Gary Dragoon is coming into the sacrifice zone life, but they do save themselves the Ember for now, but Gary is absolutely dead. This fight is so messy, and even Bane's gone. He just gets crushed from the kisses just from half a map away. Crossfire just marching forward, and the only thing that really Eternal Discord are getting out of this fight are just slivers. Survivability. Ilium was so close to dying, but just because Gary sacrificed himself, he was able to limp on out of there.
Yeah, well, also because of very fortunate uphill misses on those projectiles. But like, I think the key that we're seeing here is I suggested Crossfire could pick like a last pick hero that really controlled the space in front of them. They're actually doing it the hard way by just really spreading their heroes out. You know, the same strategy we saw employed, you know, last night and even last week, where you can pick this seemingly bad lineup, but as long as you're very coordinated in your team's movements and you take care to not ever like group up and present like AoE targets, you can take team fights in this funny kind of way, and that's what we're seeing them do. They're just kind of dismantling Eternal Discord.
It's looking scary. I mean, the gold lead isn't too scary itself, but we talked about it earlier before. This is not the team you want to take late game. The Leshrac isn't going to scale too much as soon as you get the BKBs, and the BKBs, they are coming in PL, and as much as he died back, he is actually going to be farming himself. He doesn't even need. In fact, they're just going to be hooking up the Lesh and killing him again. He thought he was killing Toes, but it ain't happening. He was just set up for Andros to land on hook, and yes, he did. Toes and back, dodging a little bit of magic damage to Fate's Edict, and just moving back to safety. So no kills in return for Eternal Discord. They're going to be forced on back. Maybe Ember can find something if they want, because Crossfire, they're fighting it, they're turning it. They just need to get back to safety. You can already see the defensive Remnant coming out from Ilium here, but the hook, okay, it misses between them. Nice little dodging coming out from both these sides here. So no extra kills. Even Basu, he's turning up for for this part as well. He's just going to doppelgang aggressively down and go straight for the Bane, who nightmares himself, but you've got illusions. They can just dodge it if they want. And anyway, Xavier going in the back, just trying to see what he can find, but they put the Queen up Bane, who blinked away, but Andros read it perfectly. What the hell happened to a total discord there? They could have just left safely, but no, it ends up being a double kill for Crossfire, another tier 2 for Crossfire, and a bigger goal lead for Crossfire.
Is under attack.
Andros hooked something else. Like, he almost hooked that Ember at the start of the fight, and the only reason he didn't was the Ilium activated Remnant mid-slight. So instead of landing on the spot where he cast Slight inside the hook, which was perfectly timed, you had to activate his Remnant and travel backwards and sort of readjust his positioning. So, you know, the pressure from this Pudge is insane. And then that hook, I looked for a Tinker Ward, because I'm like, there's no way just through that blind. Obviously, you can kind of tell the direction, but Andros is just moving so fast right now, and really a big part of how Crossfire are consistently winning these engagements and slowly building a lead now.
Well, Bowser, he's going to be building it even more. Nice little stun from Lesh, but Lesh is sacrificing his life again. He just keeps getting caught out. He may have the gold advantage onto Bowser and Andros as a Pudge, but he's going to keep on losing it if he keeps on dying like this.
Never refuse good.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's pretty tough. The last team fight we saw the Leshrac just get eaten by Pudge, and what do you do about that? That's like the number one thing that discourages people from picking this core hero, is that ultimately you just aren't very tanky, and BKB will not save you from everything that you can encounter while you're trying to stand in the middle of an enemy team. So, you know, some questions being raised about the draft, I guess. It's not that there's no chance to answer them for internal Discord, but they have to show us what did they imagine when they drafted this specific combination of heroes. Just, you know, it's a very unusual kind of setup. There must have been some reason in mind. Just waiting to see what it is.
Yeah, you would hope for it. I mean, they are bringing a smoke. Okay, Andros' build is a Meteor Hammer. Meteor Hammer Pudge. I mean, it's cool.
I mean, they did
I like it.
Right?
Yeah, they did. They changed the build, gave you a little bit of regen back, and I guess with the amount of setup they already have, the Meteor Hammer with a Pudge just waiting in trees is even more that Andros is just going to take advantage of.
I also like that Meteor Hammer, like, if you get swarmed by PLs and you can somehow get it off, or someone new gets swarmed by PLs, it like both stuns them and shows you where the real one is.
I like that
hidden tech.
Andros is literally... Oh, okay. He's got the Ags on Sapphire. They shoot Andros in and they find Gary. That's the combo his draft was for, and it just destroys them. Shotgun comes out. Cookie goes in and they get silenced and put on down. Oh, my man. Oh,
That was a thing of beauty.
I don't... It was. If you just see a big flying fat man just gone from the sky, launched by a lizard man onto you, you're just dead. I don't even know what you're thinking at that point. Gary's is like, what the hell? Pudge can fly.
The Butcher bombardment really takes them out there, and I was questioning when we saw the Ags queued up. I was like, but who are you spitting in, right? But the fact that it's only because Andros on this squad is like so far ahead and has been doing so well and getting so many flesh heap stacks that like works. If he doesn't have those items or, you know, those stacks, it becomes just sort of not worth buying the Aghanims just to spit him in. And there isn't really a better alternative, but he's huge. So, you know, go for it.
He is huge. They're going to try for him, but he's not actually here. Okay, maybe he is. Yep, they can see a whole bunch of illusions. Everybody TPing just to defend Bowser, who actually bought a Blink Dagger, which is wide around the Curry. He just needs to get it for now. He's faking out. The illusion's going for Miami, and the damage coming in with the silence onto Lesh. Lesh is instantly dead again. So much damage on the back. In fact, Miami too. He's just trying to get back into the trees, but with the rolling out, he should maybe get out to safety. But the Blink reveal onto this PL, that's going to be a surprise if he finds it. Roll's going to be there. Okay, Miami gets a nice little swashbuckle back to safety, but there's no TP, I guess. He's just waiting out, waiting for a force, but really Crossfire have complete control of this game. It is looking scary at this point. 10k gold, Bowser doing whatever the hell he wants. Yeah, he's got Echo Saber, Blink Dagger. That's his build. Okay, River finds it.
Miami.
Okay.
Is Miami just AFK? Oh!
No, he's good, he's good, it's good. Oh no, the kisses! Oh, let him live! No! Lands perfectly on him, he's gone.
Xavier is a man without mercy.
What is the TP? No mercy from Crossfire.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Well, I mean, while we've got a little bit of downtime here, we do have one final sponsor to actually thank as well. And thinking of how much power we're seeing from Crossfire here, the New Zealand Army. Actually, they've sponsored this force, the Defense Force. And these guys, they're recruiting for all roles in the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy. And guys, if you're looking for more information, just look at defensecareers.mil.nz for all the information you need to see it. The New Zealand Defense Careers. But right now, I think it's a total discord. They're looking at their defense right now. They need to kind of improve it because they've got a punch fly at you. They've got Bowser running at you and Dream, he just survives, but can you even kick Andros out of your base? You got a dagger, you got some damage. He's hooking you into him, into the Meteor Hammer, which will land. It hits the Bane, who was Fiend's gripping, and he's still alive. He's saved by Soap, spitting in the air, trying to keep him back, but he's regenning up. The damage ain't coming, the hooks are coming, and they are landing. Gary is gone. Bane is dead. Miami is just walking on back so slowly, trying to jump back, but they just launch Bowsu at you and crush you anyway. Crossfire just destroying Eternal Discord. The buybacks are coming, but Andros ain't dying. Bowsu might, though. They gotta finish him off with a side of fist, but you've got to go back for the Pudge, who's literally just gonna TP out in front of your face.
Wow.
I have no words. I've lost
Andros
them all.
is the dire Air Force right now, just flying in over and over again, and you would have think that, like, this is the most impactful unit to fire in with the Snapfire. It is quite a delayed spell, so even though you do get the stun on landing, it's not a guarantee that you'll always get a dismember off on your chosen target. But Xavier is just perfectly dropping Andros in every time, and Andros is just hitting hook after hook. They even get the Oracle combination on him. This whole game is about just like giving Andros one big pat on the back from 4 other heroes.
Radiant's middle tower.
Yeah, it seems like it.
2020.
Oh man, he can fly. The one
What
dream
if you could fly and were also invincible? Like,
he's Superman, man. At this point, it's just
he's
nuts.
super
There's no
punch.
kryptonite.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh no, he's fired, he's flying, and he lands! Finds himself flash, but they nightmare him back. It doesn't do a thing, and now they're marching forward. Andros is unstoppable. He's gonna crush all your dreams and hopes with Flying Girth. And now your dream, he can't do a thing. Double kill. It looks like desperation at this point for Eternal Discord. Oh man.
Yeah, last game kind of slipped away from them all of a sudden. This game has just been a very gradual, like, slow death. They haven't found anything positive to do. Their draft was just so greedy. In the end, like, I approve of, like, flexing heroes like Queen of Pain around your draft and that sort of thing, but, like, the Leshrac pick at the end, I'm a Leshrac fan. I just don't know where in the draft I'm a fan of him. Hero is so awkward sometimes.
Well, I mean, he's playing with things that he doesn't expect at the same point in time. Crossfire, they're not playing the normal game. They've got Ags on everybody, got Ags on Pudge. Bowsu has gone for whatever he needs. Echo Saber Blink, and I'm sure he's going to go for a completely standard PL item next. For sure, it's not going to be something completely insane like a Dagon. Everything is just up in the air right now.
I mean, yeah, it's up in the air, but they're 15,000 gold ahead, and they've just been steadily building their lead throughout the match regardless of what items. So, okay, Blink Echo PL, probably not the normal build. Second,
what about
Blink,
double Blink? What about...
Bowsu, please. Bowsu, you lose novelty value with the second
One
Blink.
for
it's
each
not...
hand.
No! Oh, no. Oh,
We did it.
dear.
It's double Blink.
What is...
It's the best build
I
we've
wonder
seen.
if there was some sort of clandestine discussion amongst the teams before this week. Maybe someone's put up a pop bonus.
Scanning.
The most bonkers play, because this really has been a week of questionable decision making by teams in the lead. I hope Internal Discord now push this.
Well, you know
Let him get away with
what
it.
Pudge has got inside him.
Radiant
Pudge has got a
scanning.
PL inside him, who's about to be inside a
Yeah, sure.
Snapfire, who's about to be launched at the enemy team, who's about to see 2 Blink Daggers on a PL and Reverie just to be part of the party. He bought himself 1 Blink Dagger as well. I don't know whether he's going to farm a second one, but I'm really... How do you answer this? Like, you're trying to play so much normal Dota, you're so far behind right now, you got 15k gold, you're like, okay, we're going to push some towers in tier 2 and force someone to come back, and then Crossfire like, I got 3 heroes inside 1. Come at me.
Dire's top tower has
I would click on the PL's inventory and see 2 blinks, and then
Radiant's
either like
He's
send
stuck
5
inside
heroes.
Pudge.
Okay, but when they do, they're saving the double blink reveal, this devastating bit of technology. I mean, the base is getting pushed. Intel Discord are not going to come back and like fight into this to do the cute stuff. Now the
Pudge
Pudge
is
is going
coming.
home and they're
Xavier
leaving.
already TP'd. Okay, he cancelled his TP. Now Xavier has to literally walk on back, and they do see it. Maybe they could take advantage. No, everybody's going back to defend. So Crossfire got exactly what they wanted here.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, Crossfire are just kind of outmaneuvering Internal Discord at the
later,
minute. I mean, Internal Discord have to travel as 5 because this threat of this Pudge airdrop is so powerful.
no.
And there's the hook.
There's Bowsu. Hey guys. What up? gets killed, jumps back on in, gets eaten. There we go, flying punch coming in, Bowser being delivered, the package is here, and Bowser comes in just to get stunned on up. Double blink dagger ain't doing much right now, and Leshrac is chasing you out. Sonic Wave being used for Andros, he doesn't even feel it, he brushes it off. They're actually going to swing up toes with a stun, maybe, no, it misses, and now they've just lost himself a Lesh, no buyback, 47 seconds, and with Ember jumping back and forth, he's not going to be able to get a kill in turn. Maybe Reverie does pop with the healing coming out, but they actually did get Topes. They got Topes, they got the Oracle, and maybe they're going to get himself Andros finally. Everybody is needed for this. Focus down the punch. Oh god, Basu's back. He just blink revealed on in and found Gary to do it again. Perfect hook coming out from Andros. They're just going to deliver himself out Xavier because Andros actually ate Xavier just so Xavier couldn't eat him. It's horrible border internal Discord are trying to deal with here, and I don't even think they know what they're seeing at this point. They're just trying to understand it all on the paper. Where'd he go? He's on a tier 3. Oh, Blade Mouth. They get it. They're good. Okay, he's dead. He's finally gone. Xavier's trying to swim away. Look at this little lizard go. Oh, the broken animation is beautiful, but can they even chase him?
Intentionally briefing. Wait, player.
Gary, Xavier, dead. Opportunities are coming. This is exactly what you wanted. Maybe this is the opening Eternal Discord need to take back control.
May I quietly tip my hat and pour one out for at 30 minutes with that death. Xavier finally relinquishes the most farmed hero on the map spot to his own Drow Ranger after leading the net worth as Snapfire for half an hour.
That's impressive. That is really impressive. So all the points in the world to the man.
Only in internal Discord games would you see this happen.
Yeah, it seems like the crazy creates the crazy, and the Crossfire are really bringing it this game. And I kind of feel bad for Eternal Discord. They are trying to play some pretty solid Dota, but they're just being outplayed by people who don't care. They just want to play insane Dota. They want to play their Dota, which is really just impactful. Andros is being so enabled on the punch, and you've just talked about it so much, and it's just insane to watch.
Yeah, I think what happened here is that it shows, again, as if the earlier games tonight didn't, the sheer importance of like picking strong lanes, like lanes that work for you, and having an idea of how you like play out of those lanes into the immediate like post laning phase mid game.
Got a triple flank.
It's like everything. Yes, we have a triple flank. Everything that Crossfire have done after that period of the game has been stupid. They've bought 3 blinks, but because they did so well in the early game, and because it becomes so hard for Eternal Discord to continue scaling these greedy heroes, it doesn't matter. Like, they do whatever the hell they want.
They're killing everybody they've got. Okay, Physical comes, but it's saved by Tobe, so no kill for you. When Eternal Discord look for something, Godrib has found it. It's in the form of Bowsu. The 3 Blink Dagger man is going to get himself a 3 kill on a mega kill streak himself as Ember Spirit tries to get to the high ground, but then Andros is going to slow them all down the route. Hey, even Haste Rune pops up just to help on out Crossfire get these kills. And Miami trying to run back to safety. There is no safety on this map as you get team wiped by Crossfire, and they march on down to your base.
Out the triple blink GTH. He could. How would he have gotten that assist if it not for his triple blink on the field? Is that in the fountain?
The flying punch in the fountain. It's in the fountain. He doesn't even die. He's got so much strength stacks. He doesn't even die.
58 flesh heap stacks is lots. That's a lot of health. I'm not going to do maths. They keep changing numbers on it anyway. But yeah, congratulations to Crossfire. Definitely proving their credentials. This is a very internal Discord kind of match. So. Unfortunately, I don't know if this means that. I think it means that in Toons Reborn, right? They're the team who are still in contention to steal a final spot out of top 4. So now it's going to be between them and FFYV2 because this 2-0 puts Crossfire out of reach. They're up to 9 wins now. Toons, after going 2-0 this week, are at 6 wins, and after going 0-2, FFYV2 are at 7. So now we are in this very interesting situation where in the final week, and I can't remember, I hope neither of those teams have the ban because I love nail-biter scenarios. We could see a really tense battle over that last spot in our top 4.
We definitely could, and after that tense game, I'm really out of words. These results tonight have been massive. I mean, the first game, Need Uprising taking a 2-0 off, I believe, FFYV2, if I'm not mistaken, but... Yeah. It's really just insane to see Need Uprising proving it, but Crossfire just showing it.
Yeah, if, the first result's the unexpected one. Internal Discord against Crossfire is a match we've seen before, and as much as I genuinely believe that Internal Discord can show up at any given time and try to win, they did that game one. It's like game one they tried to win very hard, and the game two draft was a little bit more loose. And Crossfire, they are a quality side. If you draft a bad draft, they will just punish you. Baosu with the triple flick dagger PL build. I don't know what else you deem that as, but we're hitting you over the head with the fact that you played this game wrong. So now we see the standings. Internal Discord and AGN now out of reach, unfortunately, of the finals. But Toons Reborn, they're kind of the story of the second half of their season. They have surged back to 6-6 after a disastrous start. I'm very glad that we spent the first few weeks giving them a big wrap up and seeing how much potential they had, because now they are in the seat to challenge FFYV2, who opened the season very strongly and have looked, good against tough teams, but starting to stumble in these last couple of weeks down the stretch. Their drafts really need to tighten up, and even some of their play, I'm not sure. They seem to have gotten the jitters. So one last chance to pull it back for them.
That's right, and those chances, they're coming next week for the final round of these round robin. So these games are going to be vital. FFYV2. Oh man, against Oracle AU to start off the night, and then we're ending it with a massive one. Maybe the semi-final decider, Toons Reborn versus Crossfire. So this Monday is going to be massive.
Yeah, absolutely amazing storyline to play out in one night. First off, the team FFYV2, they have the chance to secure their spot in the finals if they can take, I think, even one game. Even one game would put them at 8-0. So I believe they hold the head-to-head over Toons. So they have to just win one match, but they're against Oracle. So no guarantee, especially with their recent form slump. They are against the top team in the competition, the clear top team. Then obviously the second match, if they do go 0-2, it'll be up to Toons. They can tag in and they will be masters of their own destiny. But again, against Crossfire, that's a tough ask.
That is right, and the stakes literally have never been higher, and we've only got to wait 6 more days until we see it. 6:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time for these amazing games here at LPL for Season 2. We are going to see you there bright and early because it is going to be big. We'll catch you then.